Alright, we're just jumping straight into it. We're not pussyfooting around here. We're here to play Shibuya Scramble. The best game ever made. Hold on. Plus, I'm nervous about how long this might take. Come on. Come on. There you go. Hello. Let's jump right back into it with Achi. Or not. I guess I did his already. Let's do Osawa's. I do not want others intruding into my domain. Accordingly, I do not intrude on others. That is how I've lived my life. That is how I've forged my sense of calm. But something has begun to drive me mad. The boundaries between myself and others have started to collapse. Shit, not this again. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I will become something other than myself. And that is one thing I fear I could never bear. Oh no, you don't! Kajiwara tackled Tanaka as he strode toward the door. The two men collapsed in a heap in the front entryway. Hey! Tanaka barked. What are you doing? Hold still. Kajiwara ran his bug tracker over Tanaka's body. It began beeping loudly. Aha! Kajiwara pulled off Tanaka's necktie clip. It's a listening device. Tanaka's face went pale. Where did you get this? Kajiwara demanded. Well... Tanaka trailed off into silence. I gave it to him. The wife! It was I who had appeared on the second floor landing. You were listening in? Osawa asked brokenly. Ma'am, Kajiwara said, would you mind explaining this? For once he seemed deadly serious. I was barely able to hear a thing. That's what I get for going with something so cheap. I held out a dangling earpiece. When and where did you get that? Earlier today, when I left to do some shopping. And why did you plant a listening device on Mr. Tanaka? Kajiwara asked. That's what I want to know, Tanaka chimed in. Why would you do this, Mrs. Osawa? He was trembling. You were outside emailing someone earlier, weren't you, Mr. Tanaka? I saw you from the window. Emailing? Kajiwara looked into Tanaka's face. I nodded. He came back into the house shortly afterward, and I asked him where he'd gone. And what do you think he said, She was practically gloating, playing to her little audience. She began stalking down the stairs. He said he'd gone to check on something at the lab, despite the fact he was out in the yard there fiddling with his phone the whole time. So I figured if I bugged him, he might show his true colors and... Enough. Osawa cut his wife off. Tanaka had been emailing Hitomi, of course, but he couldn't reveal that now. I think I get what happened here, Kajiwara interposed. He folded his arms. Your wife thought that Mr. Tanaka was in contact with the kidnappers, and so she planted a listening device on him. The detective peered at Tanaka. Who were you emailing, sir? Yes, that's right, I chirped. Show us your phone, Mr. Tanaka. Let's see what you were really up to. Or is there some reason you don't want to show us? Osawa started to panic. If the police checked that cell phone, they'd find the email from Hitomi. And if the kidnappers somehow found out about that, Maria's life would be in danger. But I was still relentlessly advancing on Tanaka. Stop this! Darling? She turned to him in surprise. Tanaka was sending emails on my behalf, Osawa said. I asked him to do it. And just who was he emailing? It was... He needed to think of a lie, fast. It was me? It was someone from work. What the fuck is Pretty Honey? It was Pretty Honey? It was Pretty Honey. The room went silent. Pretty... Wait, what'd you say? Kajiwara asked after a long, awkward moment. Honey, Osawa replied meekly. My apologies, I didn't quite catch that. One more time? Pretty... Honey. Osawa's voice was scarcely audible. Pretty Honey? I asked, sounding ashamed on his behalf. Who's that? Osawa felt his cheeks burning. Of all the names he might have chose, why had he picked that one? I don't even know who that is. Who is it, sir? Mr. Kajiwara demanded. He regarded Osawa's face keenly. A personal associate of mine. You wouldn't know them. But why ask Tanaka to send the messages? Kajiwara asked. Don't you have a computer in your study? Couldn't you have sent the emails yourself? My computer was having problems sending emails. I'm not sure what the issue was. Look, the point is, there's no reason to worry about Tanaka's emails. Now I assume... Oh. Shit, sorry. One second. Okay. Now I assume we're done here. I need Tanaka to run some errands for me. With that, Osawa opened the front door. Tanaka gave him a quick bow and headed out the door. Hey, wait! I started to go after him. Just calm down, Osawa barred the way. There's no way he's connected to the kidnappers. Can't you see that? His voice cracked and he shuddered at a sudden rush of emotion. There, sir, Kajiwara said consolingly. She's just deeply worried about your daughter. I turned around and marched back upstairs. Didn't she hate her kids or something? Or was it her husband? I don't remember. I thought she was like a bad mom, but still. If she is that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift... It seems a bit... Kajiwara's muttering trailed off. What do you mean? Osawa asked. Nothing. Not important. The detective waved a hand dismissively, but there had been a definite note of suspicion in his voice. Well, back to work. Kajiwara headed back into the living room. Osawa returned to his study and sat in front of his computer. You have no internet due to an outage? Oh, I'm sorry. How are you here? I was going through there was like a storm a couple of days ago, and I lost power for a couple hours. Oh, using that 4G, that mobile. Hopefully it'll come back soon. It took me like 3 hours before my power came back. Osawa returned to his study and sat in front of his computer. He had no desire to be in the presence of the detectives who now crowded his living room. The Aya Kamiki fan forum for people 40 and over was still open on his monitor. He reloaded the page and saw that his earlier thread had gotten a reply. It was from Pretty Honey. Oh. What? Username is someone posts regularly on the... He's know a lot about agriculture and the police. But it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not going to be great. Twitch mobile already is awful, but then having to do it with 4G on top of that is like, no. I'm sorry. The VODs will be up if you want to see those. I'm sure it'll come back soon. Your internet. Oh. Fiber cut due to fire. Huh. Interesting. Okay, we can't jump there now. Okay. Regular contributor to Osawa's threads. I'm opposed to the idea of Aya Kamiki expanding into America. I feel like I've heard this. She should be able to enjoy the success she's earned in Japan without having to struggle overseas. Aya has done so much for us. I'd like her to keep supporting Japan forever. The message was festooned with the sort of emoticons that a young girl might use. Pretty Honey claimed to be a 19-year-old. The update is they're working on it now, which is better than before, when it was pending. Yeah. It's gonna be like a couple hours, but you'll probably get it back by the end of the night, if I had to guess. Fiber cut due. What is that? Wait, due to a fire? Was there like what happened? A fire? That's I've never heard of that. Internet outage because of a fire. Um, Pretty Honey claimed to be a 19-year-old female college student. Although the community was meant for Aya Kamiki fans 40 and over. Pork Bop is on a 7-stream streak.
Yeah.
We are on that young girl emoticon era, yes. Her message was festooned. It's a new. I've been learning a lot of words from this game, if anything. Festooned. I'm gonna start using that. The settings allowed anyone to post there. The only young woman among the members, however, was Pretty Honey. The thread continued. By the way, have you tried the Aya fortune teller yet? There's a link below. I don't know how to audibly say that, but fortune telling, huh? What the fuck is this? Okay. What even was that supposed to be of? What am I looking at? Okay, cool. Just say ooh woo. Alright, every single time I'll say that. Most people believe such prognostication when it foretells something good and don't believe when it's highly bad. It's about as much faith in fortune. I've never actually had my fortune read. Osawa stared. Should he ask it whether Maria was safe? If it gave him a good answer, he'd believe it. If it were a bad answer, he wouldn't. Although I have gotten like tarot readings, which are probably just about as just about as bad. I can't remember what it was. I think I got something about a sword or something. It was something about money. It was really weird. I gave him a good answer. He'd believe it. If it were a bad answer, he wouldn't. It might be worth... No, it was a cup. That's what it was. It was a cup, not a sword. It was a cup. It might be worth a shot just for the peace of mind it'd bring. He clicked the link and the Aya fortune teller page came up. It asked you to enter your birth date and sex, and then Aya Kamiki would offer her advice. Osawa followed the instructions, entering his date of birth, selecting male, and then clicking next. A few seconds later, his fortune was displayed. You will die today. You're a very work-minded person. He'd hoped for some insight on Maria, but instead it was just a write-up about his personality. You'd never be able to get by without the devoted support of those around you. But you probably don't realize that, do you? It's a big mistake to think you can get through all of life's challenges on your own. There's nothing cool about being ignorant. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you, and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that, and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Famous people who got your result. Shinosuke... Who? Shinosuke Orai. Oh, wait. Oh, I've heard that name. Yeah, that guy. Wandering Angels guy. Okay. It's all connecting. Osawa couldn't help but feel that the advice was painfully appropriate. He went back to the forum and replied to Pretty Honey. Nice to hear from you again, Pretty Honey. I definitely know how you feel about Aya Kamiki being ours. Still, I'm confident she's got what it takes to persevere and succeed in America. And if she does fail, well, all of us in Japan will be here to welcome her back all the same. Guess this voyage to America I've concocted just has me a little worked up. Ooh. Osawa clicked post and leaned back in his chair. Mr. Osawa! Mr. Osawa! It was Kajiwara, shouting from outside the door. Further back, internet wouldn't load stream. Oh, the temperature. I was like, did somebody's house get set on fire? It was... Well, where I am, I'm on the northeast. It has been pretty fucking hot. But I don't think it's been hot enough to start a fire. Not near me, at least. And it's not even summer yet, which is kind of scary. It was Kajiwara shouting from outside the door. First the toilet, then lunch. What is it now? It's not hard not to start a fire until you turn RTX on. That is true. There's been a development in the case. Please, join us in the living room. We have important matters to discuss. Kajiwara had his detective face on. Dun dun dun. Oh god. Hi, honey. When Osawa entered the living room, I was already there, looking stern and solemn. Now that you're both here, Kajiwara said, allow me to share what we know. We've identified a location that appears to be the Syndicate's hideout. You have? What about Maria? Is she there? Osawa exclaimed. We still haven't been able to ascertain whether your daughter is safe. Well, then what are these important matters you needed to discuss? Osawa felt a weight of anxiety rush through him. The hideout in question is a condominium in Hiro? With two O's. And it's owned by whom? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. Tell me. Go on, out with it. Kajiwara took a deep breath. The residence is owned by Mamoru Tanaka. What? Osawa was speechless. That's the guy who's working for him, by the way. That's like his assistant. He couldn't process what he was hearing. Tanaka? Lies! I shrieked. Just what are you implying? That Mr. Tanaka is the kidnapper? Where's your proof? With all due respect, ma'am, weren't you suspicious of Mr. Tanaka yourself? Well, I suppose, but you did go so far as to stick a listening device on him. Flustered, I withdrew into a vacant silence. The sudden ringing of the phone startled everyone in the room. Was that Tanaka? No, it couldn't be. There was no way. The phone was wiretapped. The detective wearing the headset nodded to Kajiwara, who in turn motioned for Osawa to pick up. Hello? Moshi Mosh, he said cautiously. Ah, Moshi Mosh, is this the home of Maria Osawa? The voice was not Tanaka's. Osawa didn't recognize it, but the veil of despair that hung before him thinned slightly. Is this the home of Hitomi Osawa? But this time the man on the phone used Hitomi's name instead. Yes, that's right. The caller immediately hung up. As Osawa stood there, dumbstruck, Kajiwara gently took the receiver and hung up the phone. One of the detectives addressed Kajiwara. We've traced the source of the call to a cell phone. Also, we've pinpointed the base station they used. Inform Director Kuze so he can prepare a team just in case. Just in case, Osawa asked. What do you mean by that? Kajiwara frowned slightly. Just because this is a kidnapping case doesn't mean that every phone call comes from the kidnapper. We'll look into it, of course, but... Oh, I see. Besides, right now, confirming Mr. Tanaka's whereabouts takes priority. Don't you agree? Osawa nodded. Someone should call him, the detective added. I'll do it. I got out a cell phone and dialed up Tanaka. Where was Mr. Tanaka headed? Kajiwara asked. He eyed Osawa keenly. I don't know. Actually, I actually don't know. I don't actually know. They couldn't get that in this game. Couldn't afford it. Even though leaving out the part about Hitomi, that was still the truth. If Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, Osawa knew he ought to tell the police about the blue minivan and the emails from his daughter. But part of him still trusted Tanaka deep down. Fucking why? And he couldn't bring himself to reveal it all. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. We have investigators en route to Tanaka's condominium, Kajiwara said. Let's wait for them to report in. On the why did am I okay? Did that say that twice? Am I crazy? Interesting. On the far side of the room, I was squawking in frustration. I think I just had a fucking stroke or something. Despite several attempts, she hadn't been able to get through to Tanaka. Kajiwara's phone rang out and he pulled it from his pocket. Kano? What's going on? He headed into one corner as he spoke into the receiver. I suppose that'd be alright. Must be the heat. I do have water here though, I'm good. You can't give me the heat stroke. When will Mr. Tanaka get a Persona? In Persona 6, trust. It's gonna be an all-adult cast, except that's not what the leak said, but Maybe he'll be in that game and get a persona. And his persona will be Beelzebub. Suppose that'd be alright. What for, though? After a few more quiet words, Kajiwara held his phone out to Osawa. One of the investigators on the scene would like to speak with you. Frowning in confusion, Osawa took hold of the phone. Osawa speaking. Can I help you? This is Detective Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Time is critical, so I need you to just cut to the chase here. Or I need to do that. There was a pause as the speaker took a deep breath before continuing. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret. So how did some detective... That's Kano. From the Shibuya precinct know about it? Osawa was bewildered. I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? I'm not sure I understand the question. I know what this... Stars? What's this acronym? I know what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. The drugs! Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply. I have not. I'm sorry. I'm not a resident. I've only ever seen people play it, and even then it wasn't. Yeah. Not on the Resident Evil bandwagon. I'm gonna have to give those games a try one day. Mr. Osawa? The detective continued after a moment. Is everything alright? Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. They were after the virus? Did he mean the... Oh, how do you say... UA? I say UA. I think if it was UA, it'd be both capitalized. The UA virus kept at the lab. Wait, hold on. The detective had to be wrong about that. The kidnappers must have the UA virus already. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to do what I did to Hitomi. Do not look away. These are your crimes. What? At last, Osawa understood what those emails from A were all about. They were a preview of the tragedy that was yet to unfold. The kidnappers probably meant to start the main event soon? It might already be too late to stop them. T-virus. Wait, did he really do that to Hitomi? Wow. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara asked, are you alright? The detective gazed with concern into Osawa's ashen face. Bracing himself, Osawa spoke up, his voice hoarse and dry. A killer virus is about to be unleashed in Tokyo, and I know who's responsible. It's me. The sudden confession caused the detectives on site to stir like a hornet nest. Please, arrest me. Feeling the weight of his crimes crushing down on him, Osawa dropped his gaze to the floor. He held out both his wrists. I'll tell you everything down at the station, he said. Anything you need to know. What the fuck is going on? Osawa imagined bodies dropping left and right. There were limits to what what might be cured by the small stockpile of antiviral his lab currently contained. If they were unable to quarantine the infected in time, then Shibuya, no, all of Japan might be engulfed in a pandemic that the drug could never stop. Bro, this was before COVID. Oh my god. They foretold it. A massive outbreak of the particular infection. Yeah, I know what a pandemic is. He could never hope that his complying with the authorities might help stop the spread of the infection before it was too late. Alright. Okay. Guilty conscience. The thought of the Ua virus devastating Japan filled us out with despair. Okay. Well, we don't want that to happen. In which case, I think it might be pertinent to head to Kano's routes. See what he's doing. Hey, this guy's dead. Sorry, I need my water. My water. Kanan. Kanan muttered. What's Kanan? The stench of blood hung heavy in the basement bar. Stanley was silent, staring at the criminal's corpse. Hey, do you know anything about this? Kano asked. Still, Stanley gave no response. The silent treatment again, huh? Kano huffed. The American glanced at him gravely. In all likelihood, the one who did this was acting alone. Alone? Against this many people? Who on earth? There's no need for you to know. Cut the crap, Kano snapped. He grabbed Stanley by the collar. If there's someone involved in this case who's capable of something like this, I need to know about it. How am I supposed to do my job if you keep me in the dark? Stanley remained stone-faced. Look, I'm not afraid of the risks, Kano said. And I'll be a lot more effective if you at least fill me in on the basics here. The more you know, the sooner you'll wind up dead. Kano tightened his grip. But it's okay if I wind up dead while I'm still in the dark, huh? Fine, Stanley said. I'll answer your first question. He brushed Kano's arm aside. Kanan is the name of a covert operative from the Middle East. In simple terms, a type of spy. I believe she's the one who killed these people here. The Middle East? A covert operative from the Middle East? Kano hadn't expected spycraft to be involved with this. Yeah, she's an assassin and a crypt analysis specialist. Do you recall the mass jailbreak from Abu Ghraib? I can't even say that. Ghraib? Prison? Abu Ghraib prison a while back? Oh, it's a prison in Iraq. Huh. Okay. Kanan was the one who approved the intel the escapees used to get out. Kano was at a loss for words. The case was suddenly starting to seem a whole lot more sinister. Whoever this Kanan was, she'd apparently killed nearly a dozen people with only a knife. She was clearly no one to trifle with. Just what kind of individual were they dealing with here? She looked like a kid. Last time I saw her, I thought that was like a child. You could scarcely imagine. Once again, Kano surveyed the crime scene. Each of the murdered criminals has had his throat slit. From the look of the deep, clean cuts, the killer hadn't hesitated in the slightest. Okay, so then what connection does this Kanan have with the mastermind behind this kidnapping? If Kanan had killed all of the foreign syndicate members in this bar, did that mean she and the person behind the kidnapping were enemies? Or perhaps she and the kidnapper were working in concert, and she'd carried out these slayings as a part of some plan to get rid of some loose ends? I believe I said I'd answer one question. Turning away, Stanley picked up a file from atop a nearby table. Apparently he wasn't in the sharing mood. Realizing that further questions would be pointless, Kano peered sidelong at the file as Stanley opened it. Inside was a detailed map of Shibuya and its scramble. There were various routes marked with arrows and times. That's the plan for the ransom relay. Kano was so excited he blurted out his thoughts out loud. It appeared that the ultimate goal was for the ransom was a condominium. The address and time, 1420, were written in red ink. Kano put in an immediate call to the investigation task force to relay this information. The final destination is Ground Hill number 405 and Hiru 534, Shibuya.
All right, Kuze told him. We'll look into who owns the condo in question. You and Stanley, head over there right now. I'm sending backup to go in with you. You have authorization to apprehend the suspect.
Finally hearing the order that he'd so long been waiting for, Kano felt a spark of determination flare inside him. Right, let's go, he said, some of the excitement slipping into his voice. Stanley, still solemn, closed the file and followed him out of the bar. Maybe this is the end? No, it can't be. Stanley drove alongside Inokashira Dori toward Hiru, where the finish line for the ransom relay was located. His demeanor was cold and brooding, in sharp contrast with Kano's gung-ho readiness. He seemed lost in some deep and cheerless thoughts. Kuze's voice came in over the wireless as the car came out onto Meiji-dori.
We've identified the owner of the condominium. It's
Tanaka. Dibbidi-dee, dibbidi-ba, dibbidi-dibbidi-ba. Kano held his breath in anticipation.
the name Kuze.
Oh, the name Kuze spoke caught him by surprise entirely. It's Tanaka. We know it's Tanaka. You can't gatekeep me. I know this already. I already know this. We're doing a jump here, clearly. No more needed to be said. Without a word, Kuze nodded his consent. We gotta jump. Guys, we have to jump. Now this is just like Zero Escape. We have to jump. Or shift, sorry. We have to shift. Come on. Don't woo me. Where's my thingy? I mean, you don't have to waggle the rear remote to shift. Hey, that'd be immersive though. I love the Wii motion controls. Where the fuck is it? Am I crazy? Wasn't it here? Poor, get to find it. Where is it? Here it is. No, it's not. What the fuck? It said it was here. Am I crazy? Must be at the end. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Has to be her. Where's the toilet? Then lunch. You got that stuck in my head now. Oh my god. This is what it felt like to play fucking VLR, by the way. Come on. Just... Yep.
Moshi mosh.
So he gave... Why would he do that? He gave his daughter the antiviral? Like, to test it? Weren't people, like, fucking dying from this test or something? And he did that to his own daughter? That's insane. Or am I, like... I might be misunderstanding what he's actually saying. I feel like we passed it. What the fuck? Wait, no, maybe it's here. Great words. The investigators. Get the antiviral drug to your daughter. Yeah, that's like really far in there. I don't. I wish I could. No! Oh my god! All that. Oh, yeah, fuck you then. Fuck you. Where was this? No, there was another jump point. How could this happen to me? Where was this jump? I'm going over here. Yeah, this game needed a fucking skip until new thing. That's what it really needed. That would solve so many problems. Oh, here we go. I just skipped over this. Pretty honey. Yes. Jesus. We've identified the owner of the condominium. It's Mamoru Tanaka. He's a colleague of Kenji Osawa. What? Kind of squawked. This was an unexpected twist. Kajiwara confirms that Tanaka left the Osawa residence at just after 1400 hours. Any visual novel that has routes needs skipped until... Yes. Definitely. It's rough. It's really rough. You have to like fucking read all this shit all over again. And I can't even like this is the fastest the text goes, by the way. You can't really do anything with it, which is quite a shame. But I understand this was back then, in the distant past of 2008. I guess they couldn't do that. No word on his movements since then. It's possible he headed to his private condo where the attached case is slated to end up. Any officer who runs across Tanaka is to apprehend him on sight, because they cut the connection. This mastermind you've been chasing, Kano asked. Is it Tanaka? Stanley didn't reply. Fine, never mind. I just wish I could know if Tateno is safe. Still worried about that traitor, huh? Though Stanley could ignore all of his questions, but still remembered to make some snide remarks. Talking about Tateno's the only thing that gets a reaction out of you, isn't it? Kano snorted. What makes you so certain he can't be a traitor? Tateno just isn't like that. That's not an answer, Stanley scoffed. Alright, I've watched the man work for years. I know him. He had no reason to betray the Force. You've watched him work, huh? What about his private life, then? You know all about that, too? He hasn't had money trouble or anything like that, huh? Kano felt his blood starting to boil. I don't care what you think, he said. I trust Detective Tateno. Trust him? On what basis? I don't need any basis to have faith in someone, Kano snapped. Without any basis in fact, it's just plain sentimentality, Stanley said. There's no reason or logic to it. You see, this is a cool dynamic because he's like all reason, right? And he's like all about the job, getting the job done. He doesn't really care about people, but Kano does. He has emotions, and they're going to like bounce off each other, and they're going to learn that maybe we're not so different after all. A thin smile came to his face. Be they friends or family, you can never really know other people. The only person you can trust is yourself. He's in a solitary world, and Kano loves everyone around him. He's gonna bring Stanley into his world, and then and then they'll nod their consent. The Kano had no response for such an emotionless statement. He looked away. He and Stanley were just plain incompatible. It seemed like no amount of talking would let them get through to one another. Never take anything at face value, Kano. You start trusting too much, you're basically as good as dead. Kano just stared out the window. The Shibuya precinct came into view. Tanaka's condo wasn't much further now. They were outside of Tanaka's condo now. Over there, Stanley said, keeping his voice down. Who the hell is... Across the street was one of the foreign syndicate members, walking briskly, the attached case clutched at his side. I'm making the arrest. Kano, wait! Stanley exclaimed. Kano heard him loud and clear, but he had no intention of stopping. He approached with the criminal at full speed, then leapt to tackle him around the waist. The two men fell to the pavement in a tangled heap. The collision sent the attached case flying. Kano's eyes tracked the case for a moment too long. He was caught off guard when the man threw a punch at him. The blow caught him right in the jaw, snapping his head back. For a moment, Kano saw stars. As he shook off the impact, the man sprang to his feet and sprinted away in the direction of Stanley's car. Stanley! Stanley! Kano shouted.
Grab him!
But Stanley ignored the man and instead went for the attached case. Oh, come on, really? Kano had no choice but to pursue the perp himself. He hadn't come this far just to let the crooks get away now. Suddenly, the fleeing man skidded to a stop. Several cars had pulled across the road ahead, and detectives were pouring out of them. His escape route cut off, the criminal resigned himself to capture. While Kano helped make the arrest, several of the other detectives broke into Tanaka's condo. Yes, stars. Stanley, meanwhile, was carefully inspecting the exterior of the attached case. He had already opened it. It was stuffed with bundles of banknotes. The 50 million yen ransom was back in police hands. This is a decoy, the American muttered under his breath. I wonder where... His words trailed off, but Kano had heard them. What'd you expect? The detective demanded. Samples of that new drug in there? As usual, Stanley gave no reply. The look on his face, however, told Kano he'd been right on the mark. Some of the backup team emerged from Tanaka's condo. Kano turned to them, feeling a sudden surge of anxiety for Maria. What's the situation in there? He asked. They told him that they'd found no one in Tanaka's rooms, so the hostage's status remained unknown, and the main culprit had evaded capture. This case hadn't been solved. In fact, it was still unfolding in the worst way conceivable. And still, Stanley remained focused on the attached case, pondering it with a thoughtful expression. Look, Kano told him, I'm going to request that I be returned to my normal duties. Maria still needs to be rescued, and I still need to find out what happened to Hitomi and Detective Tateno. For once, Stanley actually responded. Hitomi? Yes, that's it. It makes perfect sense that they'd have her carry it. What do you mean? This whole attached case really was a fake-out. Whoa, slow down, Kano said, wishing he could calm himself with his words. Explain what you're talking about. Somehow the kidnappers made contact with Kenji Osawa and got him to have Hitomi carry the drug, separate from the ransom. Wait, you're saying they had Hitomi bring them the drug? Stanley nodded. The case handoffs were a sort of camouflage, a way for them to keep the police distracted from their real goal. Kano nodded. It hadn't indeed felt like the case relay was a decoy, an attempt to buy time. If this syndicate were after something else entirely, that would explain why so many of their actions had appeared to make no sense. So, Kano asked, what sort of drug is this? Why would they go to such lengths to get their hands on it? It's an antiviral, Stanley replied after some hesitation. A way to cure people infected with a very particular virus. What virus are we talking about? It's called UWA. Kano never heard of it. Still, he could imagine the possibilities. Suppose this UWA was something like the Ebola virus. The hentai virus? Or even worse, the Ebola virus. When was that? The Ebola scare? I remember in school everyone was like fucking terrified of getting Ebola for some reason. Perhaps HIV? Even the all too familiar influenza. Ooh, I know that one. I've had that before. 15 or 20 years ago. I was still but a babe. There were medicines that could treat all of those diseases, but nothing that could cure them completely. Any drug that could do that would be worth vast sums of money. Kano, do you have any means of getting in touch with Mr. Osawa? Yes, I know one of the detectives stationed at his home. Check in with him, ASAP. Find out whether or not he gave the antiviral to Hitomi. Kano suppressed a scowl. It looked like he wasn't done assisting Stanley yet. He got out his cell phone and dialed up Kajiwara. Kajiwara picked up promptly. Kano? What's going on? Did I speak with Mr. Osawa? I suppose that'd be alright. What for, though? There's something I need to confirm him, or what the fuck? So there's something I need him to confirm for me. It's an emergency. Alright. Just make sure not to tell him anything about the investigation. Sure thing. After a while, a man's hoarse voice came over the line. Osawa speaking. Can I help you? This is Detective Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Time is critical, so I need to just cut to the chase here. Kano took a deep breath. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? Osawa let out a gasp. Oh my god. Whatever, dude. Fucking whatever. We'll jump. Maybe the other jump point will bring me over here. I love doing this shit. They just love doing this to me. Okay, I have to jump from here, right? I think so. Talk to the hand. I've been talking to the hand too much. I want to talk to the face. There we go. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter? He told me. Osawa let out a gasp. What? What? I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter, Hitomi? I don't have a daughter. Osawa's voice trembled as he spoke. Kano was sure he'd hit the nail right on the head. I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's Hitomi or it's the virus? It's you. Oh. It's Hitomi. Osawa. To jump or not to jump? I'm gonna keep going. Remain silent. Mr. Osawa? Is everything alright? It's not Hitomi. It's you. The line went dead. Guess that answers that well enough, Kano said as he put away his phone. Now it was clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Or sorry. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. I flipped that. I thought they were saying Stanley looked at him. Something on your mind, Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. If Hitomi is carrying the antiviral, how are the criminals planning on getting it from her? Kano thought for a moment. Well, taking her by force at the scramble posed too high a risk, he said. There were nearly 100 detectives there, and they must have guessed there would be. That's why they devised the attached case relay. They wanted to abduct Hitomi somewhere away from the Dragnet's notice. This was the plan that all the signs seemed to suggest. But still, he added, I wonder how they managed to lead her away from the police protection. A look of revelation crossed Stanley's face. All they needed to do was convince her to go of her own accord. But how? Kano asked. We have your sister, Maria. And then it came to him. He thought back to Hitomi's initial contact with Tariq al-Karawan. He does not look like a fucking Tariq to me. Just before he'd taken the attached case from her, the two had a brief conversation. It was possible al-Karawan had given Hitomi some form of instructions then. Guess we're back to tracking down al-Karawan again, huh? Kano could tell from the look in Stanley's eyes that he was on the verge of saying something. Probably some remark about how Tateno had allowed al-Karawan to run free. Right now, Kano wasn't going to argue the point. After this case was resolved, he discovered what Tateno's real motives were. And once he did, Stanley would eat his words. In the meantime, we can't just wander around looking without any leads, he said. Until we get more intel, let's see what we can do with the security cameras back at the precinct. I'm on it. I'm in. I'm hacking. Numerous monitors shone down on the pair as they entered the Shibuya precinct surveillance room. Each showed an array of faces of individuals somewhere in Shibuya. Kano asked one of the operators to pull up al-Karawan's data on screen. Computer, analyze. By selecting each of the faces on the monitors in turn, they could run comparisons to determine if anyone among them was al-Karawan. I'm thinking that's him. One by one, the operator made his way through the faces. Assuming their target was still in Shibuya, there was a high likelihood they'd find him. But the minutes ticked past, and there was still no sign of him. Kano's tone grew more and more impatient as he directed the operator's search. I can't read today. Just calm down, Stanley said. Consult the data center, where his info is stored. Yes. Cross-reference his data. Computer, I want you to enhance the photo. And show me every single person in Shibuya at this moment in time. He set a hand on Kano's shoulder. You keep wasting your energy when you don't need to. That's just how I do things, Kano replied. I'm energetic because I care. He pointed out another face to the operator. Well, you're setting yourself up for a short life. With a sigh, Stanley sank into a nearby chair. My brother was like you. Oh my god, here we go. I once had a brother. The American spoke so quietly that his words were barely audible. 10 minutes later. Oh, he didn't... Where's your backstory, man? I guess we'll do that later. A man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparisons check confirmed that it was Al Karawan. Yes, Kano hissed, pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry was simply walking around town, calm and composed. Kano radioed in Al Karawan's location to Kuze.
All units, intercept the suspect on the double, Kuze ordered. Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors.
They saw Al Karawan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone? Sasayama reporting in. I've got eyes on the mutt. The mutt is the perpetrator. To hook is to put someone in cuffs. The dipper is a pickpocket. Wants is outstanding warrants. Hang paper is to write multiple citations and other such traditional police jargon. I've actually never heard them referred to them as a mutt before. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby. I'm making the arrest, he said. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. What? At some point, he ditched his anime nerd costume for a cat mascot suit. Okay. Oh no, Kano muttered. That getup's going to make Sasayama stand out like a sore thumb. Shoot, the mutt spotted me. I'm going in pursuit. Sasayama slipped out of the camera's view. Whoa, what gives? Let go of me. You're Yanagi. Oh my god. Right, look, I'm sorry, but I really need you to return that costume. The voices came in over the wireless. It sounded like Sasayama was caught up in an argument with someone. Sasayama! Kano shouted as he eyed the monitor. Kano, I need some help here. Requesting emergency The line went dead before Sasayama could finish. Kano didn't have the faintest idea what was going on, but obviously his partner needed him. He rushed out of the precinct. How did he even get that? When he arrived on the scene, he saw Sasayama still in the catsuit, caught up in a scuffle with a man he'd never seen before. There was no sign of Al Karawan. Sasayama, what's going on? That's an excellent question, Sasayama replied. This guy just came at me out of nowhere. He sounded pretty riled up. Sir, I need you to return this costume. My boss was very insistent on that point. The man panting with exertion. Hey, don't question it. Shouting in Sasayama's face. Was he the owner of the suit? What's the deal with that thing, Sasayama? Kano asked. I bought it at a variety store on Center Guy. Figured to be a perfect disguise. I didn't steal anything. Sir, I'm telling you, you need to give that back. And I'm telling you, I've got no idea what you're on about. Furries were a lot simpler in 2008. Yeah, take me back. Take me back. Sasayama stamped out his foot. I realize you're not Mr. Yanagi. That isn't the issue. I just need you to return that costume. Alright, sure, I'll give it to you. I just need it a little longer. So let go of me. I can't do that, sir. I need you to get out of the suit right now. Yeah, I get that, buddy, but no can do. It's like I told you before. The zipper on this thing snagged. Oh my god. Kano watched as the argument descended further and further into absurdity. Meanwhile, Al Karawan was getting away. This was ridiculous. He turned to go in pursuit of the suspect. Kano, wait! Sasayama called out. Come on. Help me out, man. Huh? Help me get this thing off. Now really isn't the time for this, Kano replied. I'm going after the suspect. Oh, I get it. You're gonna ditch me here so you can take all the credit for yourself. Whoa, what? I was this close to nabbing the guy. That arrest is mine to make, and you know it. It wasn't as though Kano couldn't empathize. If Sasayama hadn't been blindsided by this random stranger, he probably would have caught Al Karawan just fine. Alright then, Kano said. He reached for the zipper at the back of the catsuit. But as Sasayama had said, the metal fittings were snagged and refused to budge. Hurry up! I'm trying! There wasn't time to do this slowly and carefully. Kano yanked down the zipper hard. Stop! The stranger shrieked in alarm. Don't be so rough like that. But if I don't, I'll never... You mustn't! If you aren't careful, you'll cause a malfunction. Malfunction? What the hell is this guy talking about? Kano got an ever firmer grip on the zipper and pulled again. Why is there a cat? About to zip his weeby? Is it on backwards? Paused. In surprise, the Sasayama mewled. Again, Sasayama let out a little cry. Except it didn't sound like Sasayama's voice at all. Guys? Sasayama said, there's something making a rumbling noise inside this thing. He sounded pretty alarmed. Uh-oh, said the other man. It has started. His face went pale. His alter ego. Sasayama. What are you talking about? Sasayama demanded. What started? The man hesitated, then seemed to come to a decision. Well, you see, this is no ordinary cat costume. Don't bullshit me right now. Meaning what exactly? Our shop rented this unit out by mistake. Oh, I had no idea it was anything so horrifying. Not until the boss filled me in a little while ago. What's horrifying? You're not answering the question. The man's gaze grew hollow and distant. Cats, he said. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Sasayama spoke up nervously. Oh yeah, it's a cat. I know that already. No, you're not listening. This is a cat's. Like I said, I already know it's a cat. Anyone can see that just from looking at it. No, not a cat's. Cats. Okay. Don't fucking... Costume as transmission system developed by Far East Costume Rentals high-tech department. There was an official corporate notice stating this is just a prototype and potentially dangerous, so do not lend it out under any circumstances, but it was accidentally rented out by mistake. Okay. The fuck is this, fucking Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm not reading that. Thank you. Oh my god. The meowing started back up again. With each new mule, the sound got faster. Soon it sounded less like a cat and more like some mechanism that was whirring about. There was a sudden fierce blinding flash. Space itself began to warp in a roughly 3-meter radius around Sasayama and his costume. Is this for real? No. What is going on? A moment later, Kano and the others had vanished. Okay. Okay. Like, sure, buddy. We did it. Alright, can we take this seriously, guys? This is a serious case, and I'm mucking about. We can do a jump here. So let's do that. I'm shifting. Ugh. I'm waggling my Wii remote. I'm gonna do a shonen jump. In Shibuya. What? So I was so startled. I think I read this. You're talking about the detective. No one asking the questions here. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter? I'm not sure I understand the question. I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. His mind went blank, and he could give no reply. He staggered out of the living room. He needed to be alone. To his surprise, Kajiwara didn't try to stop him. Listen to his idol. Oh, shutting his study door behind him, he dropped onto his sofa, then grabbed 3 times his normal dosage of stomach pills. There was no water in the room, so he had to swallow them dry. Detective Kano's words echoed in his mind. I know what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa. It's Hitomi. There was only one reason they could be after Hitomi. Dry dogging it. He broke out into a cold sweat as he began to understand what this kidnapping was really about. And it all started 6 days earlier. I do like this song. It was April 22nd. Osawa had just returned from the United States the day before. He was in the midst of some routine work at the General Research Lab, when his cell phone rang. The LCD display showed an unlisted caller. With some hesitation, Osawa picked up. Mosh mosh. Is this Kenji Osawa? The caller was using a voice modulator. Osawa raised an eyebrow. Yes? Go and analyze Hitomi's blood. Then... Oh. I might have. You know, W's and M's, they look the same. They look completely the same. Her blood. If you don't, she's going to die. With that, the caller hung up. There is an intensity behind... Oh. There's an intensity behind this that made Osawa sure it wasn't just some prank call. He had Hitomi come into the lab ASAP. Oh, so she just how did she... I'm so confused. He told Hitomi he wanted a sample of her blood for an experiment. She agreed, suspecting nothing. And she had the virus, I guess? He placed some of the blood he'd drawn onto a glass slide, then added some fluorescent... Oh my god. Fluorescien, a type of fluorescent dye. Placing the slide under a fluorescence microscope, he took a look. It can't be. Osawa could hardly believe his eyes. Wriggling under the microscope was the Grim Reaper's sickle itself. There was no mistaking it. Hitomi was infected with the Uwa virus. How the fuck? Trembling. If anyone had it, it should have been Maria. I thought they had that over there. Gordon Ramsay took the black light to the... Okay. Trembling, Osawa hurried to his computer. He opened the Uwa virus folder on his monitor. Within were images showing the stages of the virus's propagation. He double-clicked to magnify the first image. The Reaper's sickles were interlocked with one another. He clicked on the next image. After further propagation, the Uwa virus looked less like a sickle, more like a sort of insectoid larva. Next was the final image. Interlocked into a single mass, the Uwa virus vaguely resembled a sinister, many-petaled sunflower. Sure, buddy. I guess. I would say it looks like spaghetti. It took a mere 12 hours for the pathogen to develop to this point and begin its hideous destruction of the human body. Hitomi's infection sample was still in the state shown in the first image. There was still a chance to save her. That's fucked. Osawa slumped back in his chair, huddling in on himself. He had no choice. There was only one way to save Hitomi. He would have to administer the nearly completed I thought he was like testing it on her before. No, she had it. How? What? Using the antiviral without official approval was a grievous violation of company policy. I know what that is. Still, Osawa didn't have time to get to the higher-ups to approve a clinical trial. He might be punished severely for it, but this was his only option. His daughter's life was at stake. I don't really blame him. But there was also another, even bigger hurdle in his way. The antiviral drug was stored in the deepest recesses of the biochemical research building. A high-intensity X-ray scanner was set up at the entrance to the storage area. This made it impossible for him to take research materials out. Well, if he couldn't get the antiviral out of there, he just had to bring Hitomi in. course of action quickly took shape in his mind. First, he'd need to slip out of the general research building. Straight in from Wuhan. She was... If anybody should I thought Maria would have had it, because she was... I thought the virus was in the Middle East, they said, or something. Or they were testing it. Hitomi was here in Japan this entire time. So, like, how the fuck did she get it? He would then head to the biochemical research facility and show his ID card to the guard at the front gate. Oh my god. This is so futuristic. After passing through a lobby under the watchful gaze of several security cameras, he'd reached an elevator at the end of the hall that went directly to the storage section. She had... Alright, stop. Stop it. They're sisters. You can't do that. This elevator required an ID card scan to operate. I can visualize it. Look, the elevator's going down. Wait, really? Yeah, it's a new law. They just imposed that. It's fairly recent. It would take about 20 seconds to get down to the first basement level and arrive at the entrance to the storage area. Finding an excuse to get Hitomi that far ought to be doable. If the security guard got suspicious, Osawa would say, or could say it was for a top-secret hematology experiment, and the guard would probably believe him. Japandar must be too strong. The problem was what came after. Bro, those drums are going in. Or the fucking bongos or whatever they are. Getting into the storage area itself required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. This meant that he couldn't possibly get to the antiviral without Tanaka's cooperation. He was in on it. Desperate with uncertainty, Osawa called up Tanaka. Okay, this is actually interesting. He frantically explained the situation. Understood, Tanaka replied. We need to get her this drug as soon as possible. If the company finds out about this, you'll be held accountable for violation of corporate policy along with me. Are you sure you're okay with that? What are you talking about? Hitomi's life is more important than the company's policy. Tanaka spoke without hesitation. Osawa felt an immense surge of gratitude for his assistant. And I have to say, I'm deeply moved by your determination, Tanaka added. Moved? Whatever for. You really are worried about Hitomi. Osawa's gratitude faded. What are you talking about? Of course I am. My apologies. It's just that putting your career on the line for something so personal is... It's what? It's not like me? No, well, yes. I'm sorry. Now Tanaka's voice was colored with embarrassment. Just what sort of person do you think I am? Osawa resisted the urge to ask the question out loud. A short time later, Osawa and Tanaka stood before the door to the secure storage area. The security guard had let them in without the slightest suspicion. Osawa pressed his index finger to the fingerprint scanner first. Accepted. He realized he'd been holding his breath as his authorization finally went through. Half a moment later, Tanaka touched his own finger to the scanner plate. Accepted. The lock released with an audible clang and the heavy door opened. Osawa hurried to retrieve the antiviral. As he picked up a small vial, he had a sudden realization. When do we shift to the RTS battles? It's not in this game. We gotta wait for 13 Sentinels to get ported to PC. They were finally going to use the drug in a human test. His fatherly wish to cure Hitomi was overlaid by an intense rush of curiosity. The researcher's drive to discover his results. Hurry. I need to hurry. Need to administer the antiviral as soon as possible. These drums are really fucking loud now. Osawa could hardly fend off his excitement. Over the course of the next few hours following the injection, the Uwa virus would be eradicated from Hitomi's body. There had been some fever and cramping as temporary side effects, but the DDS had done a spectacular job of stomping out the virus. The drug delivery system. Yep. What this say? Yep. In saving his daughter's life, Osawa had proven the value of his research. If he had been asked which made him happier, he would have been hard-pressed to give an answer. Afterwards, he asked Hitomi where she could have become infected, but she had no idea. He explained the need for secrecy and strictly forbade her from telling anyone else what had happened. but she will tell Achi. Now a week had passed since Osawa gave the drug to Hitomi. He'd been conducting checks and had discovered that the DDS had not broken down, but remained in Hitomi's bloodstream. Extracting the DDS was a simple matter, requiring just a small blood sample from around the nape of the neck. Just like Attack on Titan. It lingers in the nape of the neck because the lymph nodes are located there. Okay. The DDS itself was simply the delivery system for the antiviral drug. Residual amounts of the antiviral itself stayed behind within the cells. Using the DDS, it was possible to extract those minuscule amounts from cells in a blood sample. Do you think the NDS controls the DDS? I think the SSD is actually in control of the whole thing. I think the SSD is actually in control. It might take considerable time, but a sufficiently detailed analysis could allow for the antiviral drug itself to be reconstructed. Yeah, write that down. Osawa felt a chill as he contemplated the situation. The kidnappers had known how tough security was at the lab, so they'd come up with the idea of using a human vessel to get what they needed from within. By infecting Hitomi with the Uwa virus, they'd ensure that she'd receive the antiviral, that she'd have it in her blood. If Tanaka was working with the kidnappers, that explained why he'd been so cooperative about the fingerprint scanner. Wow. Damn it, Osawa shot this. That's definitely a, I guess it's not that convoluted. I don't know, I feel like that's a lot. But they're getting what they need. He clutched his head in his hands. Tanaka had been his partner and trusted confidant for years. Osawa refused to believe he had been betrayed like this. The front door chime sounded.
Mr. Osawa,
Kajiwara called out.
it appears you have a visitor. Who's that?
Minorikawa, but I can't switch yet. Could you handle that? I can't believe it either. How could he do this? Oh, Osawa. Okay. Osawa. I could believe Osama got betrayed, but not Osawa. Could you handle that? Who could it possibly be now of all times? Yeah, we gotta see him. Alright. With a sigh, Osawa dragged himself to his feet. He stumbled wearily back to the living room, where the investigators were staring at the intercom monitor with concern. The intercom's hidden camera showed a man with an unsettling grin posed intimidatingly outside the front gate. Osawa didn't recognize him. Yes, who is it? He asked guardedly through the intercom. It's Minorikawa. Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa? Oh, you know. Here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really. Are you playing games with me? I don't have the time for that. Please, just open up. There's no way I'm letting you in, Osawa said. But the nonsensical badgering continued. Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that? An interview? That's right. It's a piece for 4-star general gossip. The name of the magazine brought up an unpleasant memory. That was the gossip rag that had run the article about his political marriage. Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles? What do you mean, those kinds of articles? I'm just looking for an interview. The man's tone was both high-handed and belligerent. Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip. You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters. My daughters? I understand they won a shared prize for a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind my interviewing them, Furious, Osawa cut off the intercom. This was no time to be indulging someone else's nonsense. Hey, what gives? The man was shouting so loud his voice carried past the gate and through the front door. I'm begging out here, on my hands and knees. I'll point at you. He wasn't actually on his hands and knees. Osawa could see that clearly through the intercom monitor. If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell them I want to get in touch with them? Mr. Osawa. Kajiwara said that, frowning. This isn't a good time to have someone drawing attention to your home. Alright, I'll get rid of him. Osawa hurried out the house, confronting Minorikawa. Can't do it yet. Through the front gates. The journalist had that tenacious look that immediately marked him as a member of the media. Give me your business card, Osawa said. I'll have them get in touch with you later. He took Minorikawa's card, then went right back inside. Womp womp. Back in his study, Osawa tossed Minorikawa's business card into the trash. Unable to think of what else to do, he tried the internet fortune teller again. That's... What's my fortune today? He got the same "you're a very work-minded person" result a second time. You don't get over your indifference? Yeah, we know that. My indifference to the world around me, huh? The truth was that even with his closest companions, even with Tanaka, for instance, his relationship has always been strictly a matter of business. He'd never really taken it upon himself to get to know Tanaka as a person, and that was pretty much the case for everyone he knew. He harbored no interest in other people. He had no concern for his fellow man. That had made itself abundantly clear when he received a microscope as a birthday present way back in first grade. Even now, he still remembered the shock he'd felt when he looked through that lens for the first time. He discovered a new, almost infinite world hidden in the midst of one he'd always thought was too small. By comparison, the real world seemed bland and ugly. Wherever he looked, wherever he went, he had to contend with tedium. It hadn't taken long for him to become more charmed by the world under his microscope than the one around him. It was like a calm, quiet little seaside, a beach where he could just sit and stare out at the waves. We have to shift deeper. He wanted to stay immersed in that world forever and ever. Before he knew it, he was an adult, and then a husband, and then a father. The people around him thought him an odd fellow, but he hadn't let that change the way he lived his life. And this, now, was the result. He hadn't been betrayed by Tanaka. He didn't know Tanaka well enough for that. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead. Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. I had tried calling him repeatedly and hadn't gotten through. It was doubtful that he'd pick up. Still, Osawa had to try. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. Ooh, that's a new... Oh, no, it's not. I was like, new animation? They just played it slower. Okay, I was not expecting that. I must say. I've been bewildered. So the only one we haven't done is Minorikawa, right? Yeah. Oh, we can continue with Kano, can we? Looks like it. Let's do... I think of all the storylines right now, Minorikawa is now the least interesting. I don't really... He's kind of tying everyone together. But now, like, I'm into this. Let's do Minorikawa. His laptop's broken. Womp womp. No! Hold on, sorry. Minorikawa's cry of despair echoed throughout the cafe. His laptop monitor stared back at him, black and empty. Don't you dare die on me, buddy! He jabbed his fingers sharply at the screen. But the computer gave no response, looking well and truly dead. What the hell? Minorikawa pounded his fist on the table. This would be the worst, or this would be a worst-case scenario, even if he weren't desperately pressed for time. Guess I'll just have to write by hand then. He rummaged around inside his bag and pulled out a notebook. I can still do this, he shouted, doing his best to psych himself up for the task ahead. I will still do this. Sumimasen. Sir? The waitress appeared timidly beside him. What? Minorikawa snapped, his pen still flying across the paper. Sir, if you could please quiet down. My damn computer just broke. I'm allowed a scream or two. Minorikawa was in no state of mind to be quiet. If it weren't for the deadline he was racing to meet, he'd probably have gone on screaming until he passed out. Your computer is broken, you say? The waitress peered at the monitor. Yeah, look. It just suddenly stopped displaying anything. Could it be that... the battery is just dead? Bruh, did he... I was like, maybe... I thought that was a stupid question. Like, maybe he just didn't charge it. That's it! The waitress flinched as Minorikawa's fingers jabbed toward her face. I hadn't considered that possibility. Hey, let me plug in somewhere. There's an outlet right here, sir. She pointed at an outlet by Minorikawa's feet, making no attempt to hide her exasperation. Where are my glasses? Minorikawa plugged in the power cable and the monitor sprang. For fuck's sake. I thought he was smarter than this. I guess he was under pressure, so... So, now that that's sorted, would you, shut the fuck up, sir? Don't talk to me. You're interfering with my writing. Absolute cinema. Minorikawa's fingers had already begun dancing across his keyboard. With a sigh, the waitress disappeared back into the kitchen. Oh yeah, now we're talking. His fingers picked up speed as he went about touch typing. The act of typing at a keyboard without looking at the keys. It's the aspiration of computer novices everywhere. I still can't do it. I have to look sometimes. The pros and cons of surveillance cameras. The proprietor of outdated electronics shop oversees high-tech camera system. Bedlam at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. AK normal non-grain. Non-grain. Now Minorikawa's spirits are riding high. Do they still... I remember in school we had to take a class on typing. I don't know if they still do that. I'd assume no. It's instinctive now. It's like downloaded into the human brain. We've evolved. Sir? It was the waitress again, her voice yanking Minorikawa right out of his soaring mood. You think so? Now what? Has the President of the United States agreed to give me a one-on-one interview? The waitress's eyes went wide with confusion. Huh? Because unless it's something that important, I do not speak to me right now. Yeah, I don't... All of my cousins are not in school anymore. I don't know a single school child. I don't know what's going on with the youth. What's going on with the kids nowadays? What do they say? 6, 7 or something? Sir, please, if you could just be a little quieter. Minorikawa's fingers ceased their rattling across the keys. Just what sound do you have a problem with? All I've been doing is writing a copy. Well, for the last while, actually. You've been talking while you write, sir. Talking. Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion. Yes, sir, you've been talking about an electronics store and some bogus weight loss drink. Back in my day, it was 6'9". We liked it too. That's true. You're saying I've been narrating my copy aloud while writing it? That's right, sir. Other customers sitting nearby were openly snickering. Well, so what? He snapped. He was red in the face now. You should all be delighted that you get to hear what I'm writing before the magazine goes to print. Well, actually, sir, one of our customers has been complaining. Complaining? Of all the nerve, who was it? Where are they? Minorikawa scanned the other patrons, many of whom were unsuccessfully trying to hide their laughter. It was me. It was the grumpy older fellow who'd been making a scene earlier. Bogus diet fads, peeping security cameras. Reminds me of that sleazy tabloid 4-star general gossip I hate so much. Dude's on the verge of tears. Look at him. He's scowling. No, actually, he's smiling. That's a smile. Did you see it in his eyes? Oh ho, he sure seemed to know a lot about it for someone... or for something you hate so much. The man's face twisted up with scorn. Your behavior is bothering everyone in here, he said. Do you not understand that? No, I don't. Guess a reporter who writes nothing but nonsense prefers nonsense in everything he does. Minorikawa could feel his blood boiling. What was that? Go on. Say that again. Oh, gladly. Nonsense, filth, cod, swallop, flim-flam. You bastard! How dare you! Flim-flam! Minorikawa stormed over to the man's table. Flim-flam indeed. bogus or insincere content. Few things anger Minorikawa more than reporters using dishonest means to create a story. Having his own work called Flim Flam would naturally make him blow his top. You had a dream about eating a What? Well, I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a good time, at least. Hallucinogenic strawberry. Just who are you calling Flim Flam? The other man stood up and glowered in Minorikawa's face. You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency for starters. It was scary. Nobody else could see it. It wasn't a real strawberry. Well, I'm sorry you went through that. I know that can be scary. When you see things no one else can see, but, you know, it's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. It was just a dream. You're back in reality now. You should write for this game. Did you write for this game? I think you do really well in here. You couldn't imagine the relief when I woke up. You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency. I have plenty of manners and decency. I always see things no one else can see. She's real to me, damn it. Dude, let me read this Flim Flam right now. It's called Swallow Up and Flim Flam. I also happen to have a deadline. Bah. As if a Flim Flam artist like you has a work ethic. Stop calling me Flim Flam. The waitress inserted herself between the two men. Gentlemen, please stop fighting. I demand that you remove this man at once, the older fellow barked. He's the one you should be kicking out, Minorikawa shot back. By now, he was ready to go for this guy's throat. Please, the waitress pleaded, both of you, return to your seats. She grabbed onto Minorikawa and began to forcibly drag him back to his table. Oh, it's too late for that. Should we throw a punch? Or swallow our pride? Let's throw a punch. Things are getting heated. It's too late for that. Giving into his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker. Grah! The man dodged nimbly, however. Not bad. I'm 6th Dan in judo. You should have mentioned that earlier. Minorikawa hastily retreated to his seat. The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl. Oh, my bad. Sorry, man. I didn't mean it. It was an accident. Like... The needless interruption, just when he finally got into writing mode, had all but killed Minorikawa's motivation. He decided he needed to take a breather. He turned to the waitress and pointed at her. 1 spaghetti... What? Oh, they mentioned this. Napolitan. World War II? Okay. He might not have a lot of spare time, but working on an empty stomach wouldn't do him any favors. Yeah, ketchup, that's crazy. Yeah, that is, I would never. I'm sorry. I mean, like, if I had to. that's crazy to me. While waiting for his order to come out, he decided to read back over the copy he'd written so far. What? What now? When he looked back at the monitor, the screen was black yet again. Looking down at his feet, he saw that the power cable was now, the power cable was now unplugged. Hey, what kind of cafe are you people running here? He shouted. The waitress hurried over, looking combative. Sir, you yanked that out yourself when you Oops. When you stood up earlier. What? A likely story. It's the truth, sir. He loves pointing. Minorikawa pointed at one of the customers sitting next to him. Is she telling the truth? Did I really yank my power cord out myself? What kind... We're getting the Freudian slip. Did I... The man nodded sheepishly. Yeah, well... Then that's the outlet's fault for being someplace where it unplugs so easily, Minorikawa squawked. The waitress marched away, head held high. Just make sure that spaghetti's delicious, Minorikawa shouted after her. Do that and I'll consider us even. What's going on with Mr. Sadsack over here? He had a rough day. Oh, and load it with cheese. Lots of cheese? Okay. Bro is going to be visiting the toilet very soon, and he's having coffee too. He plugged the power cable back in, then let out a heavy sigh. In all his writing fervor, he hadn't thought to save his work. Always make sure that's I agree with this. Always make sure to save your work to avoid losing data. Honestly, why is it that your computer only seems to freeze when you've forgotten to save your stuff? That's happened to me before, and it was not fun. I was editing a video for like literally 2 hours. I didn't lose all of it because thankfully it does autosave sometimes, but it was still destructive to my psyche. He was probably going to have to rewrite most of what he'd done. Excuse me. Minorikawa looked up to see a young woman standing there. I'm so sorry, she said. About my father. She gave a tiny bow. Your father? Oh, the rude old man. He's just a little worked up right now. Please, don't pay him any mind. So what, you waiting on your boyfriend? Huh? The woman was taken aback. I happened to hear you two arguing earlier. Would have been about... Is he saying that? Would have been about 2 hours ago? Oh, I see. An awkward, embarrassed smile came to the woman's face. I thought he was going to ask my father for permission to marry me, so we've been waiting for him, but he's like, you know, fucking working, so I don't know what we expected. What do you know about my Oni-chan? But he hasn't shown up? No. He must be really busy. She cast her eyes down sadly. Minorikawa took a better look at her. She was gorgeous. A woman with her looks wasn't something he saw every day, that was for sure. Say, would you mind talking with me for a bit, he asked. Me? Yeah. I kind of need to turn my mood around here. Well, okay. At least until my father gets back. The woman cast an anxious look toward the restrooms. What's her name? Ruby-chan. She sat down across from him. He needs to stop pointing at people. Wait a second. Aren't you... Minorikawa appeared at Rumi's face. One of those twins that was chosen as Miss Midoriyama? Rumi shook her head. I don't know. Have we seen her face, actually, now that I think about it? I think we've just seen the back of her head. No, not me. No? Damn. Didn't think I'd be that lucky. He took a sip of his now cold coffee. I do know the girls you're talking about, though, Rumi said. Perfect. Minorikawa spat out his coffee in surprise, right in her face. Rumi squeaked in alarm as the spray splattered her in the face. But Minorikawa leaned in, unconcerned. You mean it? You really know them? Yes, Rumi replied. You're talking about the Osawa twins, right? She got out a handkerchief and wiped the coffee from her face as she spoke. Osawa, huh? Minorikawa glanced down at the project proposal on the table. I'm gonna say CGI coffee. That's what I'm gonna say. Sexy squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Yep. Yes, that's it. The Osawa twins. I actually won Miss Midoriyama myself a few years ago. This year I served as one of the judges. Minorikawa adopted a self-satisfied pose. Guess I really was born under the right sign to be a freelancer. The leads just come to me. Sure, Rumi muttered. Okay, let's talk basics then. Tell me what you know about these girls. Well, I don't really know them personally. Rumi continued to dab at the coffee on her face. But now that you ask, I do remember hearing that they entered the contest separately. Wait, separately? Now Minorikawa was a bit confused. Yes, that's right. I'd assumed they entered as a pair, but apparently not. I wonder why. I mean, they're twins. Don't they look alike? Wear the same clothes, do everything together, and say the same things at the same time and stuff? Rumi chuckled and shook her head. No, not at all. Besides, these two aren't identical. They're fraternal twins. What is that? Those are twins who were born at the same time from two eggs that were fertilized separately. Oh. They look very closely alike, but they do not have the same blood type. Which is actually important here. Although at a glance, they do look very similar. Still, how should I put this? They both give off a very different impression. Oh? Now that sounds interesting. Mind explaining what you mean? Minorikawa opened his memo pad. I talked to them briefly after the award ceremony. The older sister struck me as really energetic, but the younger one was more quiet and reserved. Minorikawa's investigative senses were tingling. I wouldn't figure a shy girl would want to enter a campus beauty contest. I suppose not, no. Yeah, I don't suppose you've got anything... Oh, he said that. I don't suppose you've got anything juicier, Minorikawa asked. We frowned. Would you like to just go ask them yourself, she said. They don't live very far from here. Whoa, hold the phone. Minorikawa could hardly believe what had just fallen into his lap. The advanced info in the project proposal had mentioned the girls were students at Midoriyama, but he hadn't given an actual address. If he could talk to them directly, now that would be pay dirt. You know where they live? Well, not exactly. I just heard that they lived in Shoto. Aha, Shoto. That wasn't very far away. A car or motorcycle could get there in about 10 minutes. It'd be quicker than going to Midoriyama Academy, and he'd be able to meet with the girls themselves. Minorikawa flashed a quick look towards the restroom. It looked like Rumi's father had just gotten back. Sumimasen, she said. I should be going. Shoto? I've seen that in anime. No, silly. Not that kind of Shoto. No problem, and thank you. Rumi gave him a quick nod, then hurried back to her seat. Minorikawa grabbed the directory from the public phone and flipped through the pages. To his surprise, there were only 5 listings for the name Osawa, with addresses in Shoto. There was neither a Maria nor a Hitomi, but he hadn't expected there to be, and he'd need to find their parents. Wasting no time, he called up the first Osawa on the list. Oh, that's who was bingo! That's who called him. Minorikawa couldn't help but pump his fist in excitement. He got in the right place on his first try. Way to go, me! He committed the house number listed on the phone book to memory. Just then, the waitress reappeared with a disgruntled expression and Minorikawa's order of spaghetti Napoletan. Here you are, sir. Oh. Oh! The fuck are those fucking hot dogs in there? What is that? The pasta was piled high with an impressive mound of grated cheese. It looked almost like a miniature mountain of snow. Cocaine and cocaine accessory. You did say lots of cheese, sir, the waitress told him. She set down a canister of cheese and a bottle of Tabasco. Oh, this looks good, Minorikawa exclaimed. He twirled some spaghetti up with his fork and shoved it into his mouth. Hold on, yeah. You never know, there might be a jump thing in here. Okay, yep. We got the dank floor. The slightly sour sweetness of the ketchup blended perfectly with the mellow flavor of the cheese. Oh, that is tasty. There's nothing like satisfying grub to lift his spirits. He turned back to his laptop, still wolfing down the spaghetti. Alright, so we're back in action. Let's do this! Yet again, he unthinkingly blurted at his words aloud as he slipped back into writing mode. I've got this. I've got this. With ketchup smeared around his mouth, he set his fingers tapping away at the keys. The waitress let out another groan of dismay. Oh my God. Huh? You say something? Minorikawa glanced in her direction, but the waitress faked a smile. No, sir. I don't think so. Yeah? Well then fuck off. You're distracting me. The moment he looked away, she clenched her fist in indignation. Nothing, sir. Good luck with your work, sir. I don't need luck. I've got this. Spaghetti. Eyes jumping back and forth between pasta and computer, Minorikawa got back to work on his copy once more. Before long, he was oblivious to every sound in the cafe around him. Oh my goodness. When he finally snapped out of writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was 2:20. Almost time for him to head to his next interview. Better get a move on. Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minorikawa was hurrying out of the cafe. Well, what a pleasant surprise, Minorikawa called out. Nice timing, my man. Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation. Do you need a ride, sir? You know it, Minorikawa replied. First, head to Shoto. After that, now I need to get to... Oh, fuck. Sakura Gaoka? Sakura Gaoka. Yeah, Sakura Gaoka. As he cast his gaze out at the sights of the city, Minorikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the missed Midoriyama girls, then he'd meet with the head of that theater troupe in order to leave himself enough time to write his copy. That meant... I'd like to get this wrapped up on 20 minutes, he said. Can you make that happen? Kimizuka flashed a grin. That will incur a special fare, sir. Ooh, special, Minorikawa said as he got settled in the seat. I love that word. Kimizuka stepped on the gas. Oh my god, it's the 109. It's just like The World Ends With You. Shibuya was a town of contrasts. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble intersection and center guy perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Bunkamura Dori, I clapped. Bro, I've seen this in anime and games. It's real? What? The town's whole atmosphere changed. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed, one of Tokyo's most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk. Right here's fine. Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over. Wait here for me. I'll be right back. Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of the nearby homes. Here we go. He'd spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa, huh? The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. Even the little chime it made when pressed sounded elegant. Minorikawa waited, but there was no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with the Shinosuke Orai of the Wandering Angels was supposed to have started already. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins first if it was possible. He had to make a choice. Let's keep waiting. Just 5 more minutes. Suddenly a man's voice came through the intercom. Yes, who is it? He sounded rather guarded. It's Minorikawa. Where might I know you from, Mr. Minorikawa? Oh, you know, here and there. I mean, there's only one Minorikawa, really. Are you playing games with me? I don't have time for that. Please, just open up. There's no way I'm letting you in. It's me, just let me in. This discussion was getting them nowhere. Minorikawa decided he'd have to take the direct approach. Look, just hold your horses. I'm here for an interview. You got that? An interview? You taking the bait. Most folks could hardly resist the word interview. That's right. It's a piece for 4-star general gossip. Wait, this is for one of those kinds of articles? The man sounded angry now. What do you mean, those kinds of articles? I'm just looking for an interview. Like hell you are. I'm not talking to anyone from the gossip. You're not the one I'm here to talk to. I want to interview your twin daughters. My daughters? No parent would deny their children a chance for word of their... Whoa, what? No parent would deny their children a chance for word of their achievements to spread. I understand they won a shared prize for a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy. If you wouldn't mind my... Oh, the intercom cut out before Minorikawa could finish. Hey, what gives? I'm begging out here, on my hands and knees. He wasn't actually on his hands and knees, but whoever was on the other end couldn't see that. Is he joking? If your daughters aren't home, can you at least tell them I want to get in touch with them? No, man, it's normal. I just want to interview your twin daughters. You know, me, Minorikawa, you know me. We're like tight. He wasn't even using the intercom now. He was just shouting over the gate. A man stepped out of the front door. Yeah, give me your business card. Blah, 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 blah. You read this. Hold on. Oop. Osawa. Oh, now Minorikawa recognized him. This was Kenji Osawa, the preeminent virologist who worked for Okoshi Pharmaceutical. 4-star general gossip had run a scandalous article on him in the past. Minorikawa remembered reading it. He held out his business card and Osawa snatched it from him. The virologist started to head back into his house. Please see that they get back to me, Mr. Osawa, Minorikawa shouted after him. And then he noticed something odd. It was the middle of the afternoon, but every window in the house had its curtains drawn. That, combined with Osawa's demeanor, set off bells. I can't alarm bells in Minorikawa's head. He knew he was onto something, but he couldn't linger at the Osawa residence any longer than he already had. He needed to get to that theater ASAP. He hurried back to the taxi and told Kimizuka to go. On the double. A few minutes later, the rear tires skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakura... Fuck. How did I say that? Sakuraga Oka had taken almost no time at all. "Here are, sir," Kimizuka announced. Wow, that was fast. Still, Minorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He hoped he'd still be able to get into the interview with Orai. We'll have to find out next time. By next time, I mean, like, right now. Alright, can we continue anywhere else? No, so we gotta jump somewhere. What was this? He should never put that cat suit on. He mentioned buying it at a variety shop on Center Guy. Center Guy. Oh, here. They mashed the Gaoka syllables together. Oh, it's Gaoka. Just a possibility. And sometimes they write it weird and they actually like hyphenate it, but maybe. It's gotta be here. What should I do with the suit? Deal with it yourself.
I feel a little guilty about having him go out of his way for me more than he has already.
Maybe I should deal with it myself. He looks a bit disappointed when I tell him that. I mean, what is she gonna do with it, though? I buy the necklace for 30,000 yen and leave the knick-knack shop behind, hauling the costume with me. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision. I can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees is out front, cleaning out the trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect! Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else.
Sumimasen, I've got this old cat suit here.
I figure it can't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I know.
The shop boy. Oh, who the fuck is... Taku? Recently, after a number of employees quit in rapid succession, the owner hurriedly took on several new hires. But for some reason, instead of everyone chipping in on the cleaning, Okado always winds up stuck doing it. He takes the costume. "You here to throw this thing out?" I got it. He sounds wholly unsurprised. He accepts it so blithely that I actually feel bad. "It's been like this all morning," he says. "He don't even care anymore. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess." It's been like what all morning? I'm out here cleaning and people keep dumping trash on me. First there was this couple that up and threw a garbage bag at me. What? Did they do that? After that, some homeless looking guy came by, took all his clothes off and left. Okay. Like, just now some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles. That must have been Chitty. She was probably drinking the burning hammer while she walked along. "So, when you came by just now with this thing, I knew right away. Yup, this again. We call that a Tuesday." I'm sorry? It's alright. 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference? He flashes a bright smile, but it's clearly insincere. Then he looks at me more closely. "Huh. Aren't you the girlfriend of that dude who threw the bag of garbage at me?" "What? No, not me." "Huh. Guess I'm misremembering then. Well, anyway, thanks for your help with this." I give the guy a bow. Or she said that. My God, I keep mixing them up. Minutes later, near the station. Okay, I think this is the same. Where I sell shirts. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. We can dip out. So that would change... There we go. It's affecting the timeline. The routes are converging and intermingling 10 minutes later. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna break out of the loop! Alright, Sasayama, get in there. Now he's... Street dancers, get up. Okay. It didn't appear that Alcala 1 had noticed him yet. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. Not much further now. Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched. And then something unexpected. No, please. Another man came running into view right in the middle. Why? Who? Oh, this guy again? Oh my god. There was no sound, but they could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Alcala 1 turned to look at the man, Sasayama launched himself like a bullet from a gun. In an instant, Detective and Perp were locked in a violent scuffle right there on the street. Kano swallowed a lump in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Earlier in the day, Alcala 1 had done a number on Sasayama, but this time the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Alcala 1's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Alcala 1 tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown. Then he shifted his stance and took Alcala 1 to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Yes! Kano clapped his hands together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got out his handcuffs. That's a technique in judo. Stanley, we should head to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment, and when he looked back, Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend. How the fuck? There was something jutting out from... Oh, his abdomen. Computer, enhance, Kano cried frantically. The camera closed in on Sasayama. Now Kano could see exactly what he feared. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. Blood pooled on the pavement around him. Rest in peace, Sasayama. Sasayama! The camera showed several other detectives arriving at the scene, capturing Alcala 1 before he could escape. But Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood around him spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look away any longer, Kano rushed from the surveillance room. Tell my wife. Oh, that's the end. Wow. At least for now. He's not dead. He's not dead. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So what are we doing here then? We got a bunch of keep outs. So Kano's done. So there must be something in Maria's thing. Why was she... What is this? After a meeting... Oh, that's Tanaka, right? She wound up getting attacked in the alleyway. This all came to pass because she was avoiding that young man who mistook her for Hitomi. If he hadn't shouted after her, she would have gone on to buy some clothes. If he didn't shout... So that's here. Yeah. I feel like this is worse, but okay. Instead of shouting, I decided to run after her. Had she forgotten where he was waiting for her? She stayed on this escalator, heading up toward the top floor. She followed her, but by the time he reached the top, she was out of sight. There's a restaurant floor. Is this the same? You really begin to look around. You want to change? Put it in man. Oh, sorry, my bad. He held the hand. Okay, whatever. Let's do this now. I don't know if this matters. I'm still gonna try and help him out. Tama, do you love me? Do you love me, girl? Okay, yeah, we've seen all this before. Margarine! Part ways, don't tell me. You know what game I low-key want to try? I want to try Trauma Center. I've never played it. I've only ever heard, like, that one song. That's all I know about it. It looks fucking weird. The third floor is packed with young girls. I spot a shirt that catches my eye and head to the fitting room to try it on. Yeah, you know of it. I think it was a DS game. Was it a DS game first or was it a Wii game first? Or maybe it was on both. I don't remember. It's such a funny concept for a game. I realized there's something in my pocket, something I must have been carrying around for a while. It's a photo of, who's that, Stanley? A photo of a of, a photo of a white man. It's Stanley. Who's this guy? I can't quite tell if I recognize him or not. This man. This is my favorite photo. Huh? Dangerous. Oh, it's dangerous? Stanley? What's going on? Who can I trust? First it's Tanaka, now it's Stanley? Is he white? I honestly can't tell. Computer? Analyze. Is this man white? I hear someone's voice inside my head. What the fuck? Oh, that's Kanan. Stay away from him. That's Kanan. Flashes of memory flicker in my mind. I see a girl standing before me. I can't quite recall her face, but I get the impression she's someone very important. She speaks to me. This man is dangerous. Stay away from him. That's all. Then I snap back to my senses. I snap back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. It feels like I was right on the cusp of remembering something critical. At any rate, it seems like there's some connection between me and the man in the photo. Try as I might, though, I can't quite recall anything more than that. What is Stanley up to? I try on the shirt I picked out. Yeah, that looks good. I decide to buy it and have the store toss out my torn sweater for me. As I'm about to go down the escalator, a young man strides up to me as if I'm an old friend. Let's take the plunge. Let's take the plunge. I just took the escalator down to the third floor, and there was Hitomi standing right in front, or right in the open after he'd been searching for her high and low. There you are. I thought we were going to meet on the second floor, Achi said. She stared back at him in confusion. Well, anyway. Come on, we have to go hide. Hide? Why? She gave him a dubious look. Achi felt like something was off, but now wasn't the time to dwell on it. Because those guys might have found us, he said. They're outside. He took hold of Hitomi's hand. Hey, let go, what gives? She quickly yanked her hand away. Huh? As Achi tried to make sense of the way she was acting, she took off down the corridor. Hey, Hitomi! He hurried after her. It was like changing her clothes had also changed her personality. Still, he couldn't just leave her alone. The kidnappers might well be closing in. He stayed in pursuit of her, trying not to draw too much attention. He headed in the direction Hitomi had gone and came to a stairwell. The hell is going on? Had she gone up or down? Achi frowned in consternation. Am I picking here? Hey, stop right there! He heard shouting coming from down below. Then came the sound of footsteps rushing up the stairs. Hitomi? Was someone chasing her? Achi bolted down the stairs before he could mull it over too much. Or mull over it. Down on the landing, he ran into a man who was pale in the face. You gotta help me! The man went and cowered behind Achi. Two thuggish-looking men came up the stairs after him. Where is Kiryu when you need him? Hand him over, kid. Yeah, don't make us do nothing with both but grit. Two guys bullying some frail old man? Achi huffed. You want me to just turn a blind eye while that goes down? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. The younger fellow, the one who looked like a small-time gangster, sneered. Oh, you're gonna want to turn a blind eye to this, little man. This is gonna get bloody. By the way, Achi asked, either of you see a girl around here? Super cute. About Yecho. The gangster suddenly threw a jab with his right fist, and Achi dodged on reflex. The punch wound up catching the man hiding behind him right in the face instead. Oh, whoops. Achi realized his mistake a moment too late. Ooh. The man slayed out onto the floor. Whoa, my bad, Gramps. You okay? Achi hunkered down and slapped the man in the face. Hey, come on, stay with me. It's no use. I'm done for. Please, look after Ana Mino Rikawa. The man's muttering was all but incomprehensible. Hey, Achi said, this guy seriously needs to go to a hospital or he's in big trouble. You guys, go call an ambulance. He needs... When Achi... Don't tell me he's a fucking bad... Oh my god. When Achi looked back, the man in the sunglasses was standing over him holding a fire extinguisher. Why wait for an ambulance when the fire department's already here? The butt of the fire extinguisher came right down onto Achi's face. But I didn't call for the fire department. Ugh. Okay. The girl Achi was following was Hitomi and offered Achi to avoid this disastrous fate. The girl needs to run off in a different direction. Okay. Let's go back here then. I go down the escalator and blah, 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 blah. There you are. I thought you mean the second floor. We're just saying the same thing, but from her perspective. Oh, well, anyway, come on, we have to do the thing. Hide? Why we have to hide? Hide, why? Because the guys, and they're outside, and you grab my hand, I yank it away. Hey, come on, let's get this. Is this a new trick? Pickup trick? Whatever it is. It's too aggressive. I get the heck out of there. First, you say no. Then you get out of there. You know, I know she watched Sonic. Good for her. The guy keeps shouting, but I ignore him and try to slip away into the crowd. When I look back, though, I see that he's still following me. What do I do? Okay. Hide. Maybe I should hide someplace where there are fewer people. I scurry for one of the far corners of the floor. Compared to the area around the stairs, that's no good. The rest of this level is deserted. I head up on the 4th floor. Head on up to the 4th floor. This is low-key worse. When I get to the top of the stairs, I see a man talking on his phone. He looks a little furtive, like he's trying to avoid the public eye. Oh, well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs. What I can hear of his conversation makes me pretty uneasy. I turn on my heel and get the heck out of there. Get the heck out of there. And I arrive at the 4th floor. The Chinese were here. Why are we here again? He did, dude. Urkel, he saves everyone's lives. What would we do without him? He's a hero. He's a modern hero. Imabiki Chinese restaurant. The name means something along the lines of fire of mourning. I guess fire is important for cooking, but that's kind of an unsettling thing to call an eatery. Oh well, I guess the name doesn't really matter. I'm in a mood to straight up devour some Chinese food. They're sold out. When I go to enter, though, I'm stopped by one of the employees. Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I'm afraid we're not accepting any more, any customers. I mean, we're not really open. Not just now. She sounds a little bewildered by her own words. Why not? Well, you see, one of our other customers ate all of our food. Someone ate an entire restaurant out of food. Is that even possible? What I'm trying to say, miss, is that we're, closed for the day. Ugh, go figure. Looks like Mr. Yanagi's bad luck has rubbed off on me. I guess I'll have to look for another restaurant to... What the fu- Hold up. Who's that kid? Lying idly across the seats in the waiting area at the front of the restaurant is a young girl. Is this the girl that dismal-looking fellow has been searching for? She looks so sad, it makes my heart ache. I can't just leave her here alone. Why is she... What is she doing? Excuse me, is your name Hana? She looks so wary at the question. Your father's been looking for you, I say. Hana ignores me and just stares up at the ceiling. Hey, how about we try to find your dad together? I coax the girl into getting up, then I call out to the restaurant staffer. Excuse me, where should I go to ask them to put an announcement on the PA system? Dunno, maybe, the first floor? The security office? Right, down we go. I take Hana with me, and we get on one of the elevators together. She's just following a stranger. She needs to watch Sonic. Do you know my father? Hana's tone is pretty brusque. Well, I don't really know him exactly. Then are you a debt collector? I laugh and shake my head. Haha. Would a debt collector be wearing an outfit like this? Hana lets out a deep sigh. So you're just kind of butting in then. Well, yeah, I guess so. First, you say yes. Then, you follow them. I can't help but grin sheepishly. I feel like something about sad little Hana is stirring some of my lost memories. If I just came out and told her that, though, she'd probably think I was a total weirdo. So I decided to say something else. I guess I just get bored being all by myself. I guess I'm just the sort of person who can't ignore someone in trouble. I just can't ignore someone who's in trouble. You're weird. Hana looks away from me. Was that the wrong... What do you want me to say? I get lonely, so I snatch little kids up. Like, what? When I get to the security office, I hear voices coming from inside. I wonder what they're talking about. I peek in through the crack in the door and see a man with a cane speaking with the security guard. Oh. How many exits are there that lead outside? There's the main entrance on the first floor, along with 2 side entrances. Also, there's one down on the first basement level and another in the second basement. The security guard spoke with polite precision. Merci, says the man with the cane. I need you to shutter all the exits except for the main entrance right away. Understood, sir. Attention, all shoppers. The announcement comes in over on the loudspeaker. Due to maintenance, all social entrances are that event entrances have been closed. In apologize for the inconvenience. Customers wishing to leave, please use the main entrance on the first door. Not sure what just happened, but it sounds like the main entrance is now the only way out. Come on, I say, let's have them make an announcement for us. But when I turn around, Hana's gone. She must have run off while I was distracted. Well, looky here, if it ain't that little cutie again. Sorry, sir, neither in lower. Sorry, neither in lower. We need assistance in the bottle room. Assistance in the bottle room. The 2 thugs that were after Yanagi come strolling toward me. Wow, you're a speedy one, huh? Says the bald man. Weren't you downstairs just now? And did you change your clothes too? He looks me over, seeming impressed. Hey, hold on, let me see your face. The younger man grabs me by the wrist. You know Yanagi, huh? Go on and give him a quick little call for us. He gives me a sharp yank. Let go of me. Can it, girlie? Just give the man a call and we're all good. I have nothing to do with that guy. Do it now. These guys aren't even listening to me. Now I'm pretty pissed off. Oh! I said, I have nothing to do with that guy! I whip my man-handled arm in a wide arc and send the younger man flying into a stack of boxes. Guess he must not have been expecting that. He hits hard. The impact knocks him out cold. Whoa. Who the heck are you? The bald man asks, his eyes wide. Shut up, I tell him. You are next. Irk. I flash a winning grin. He gathers up his fallen friend and drags him away as fast as he can go. Don't fuck with Maria, bitch. Okay, that was pretty strange. It's just like when I was fighting Miku. My body seems to know how to pull off all these moves instinctively. Am I a martial artist, maybe? I guess so. Anyway, I've got to find Hana. Easier said than done. I wander around the building, but I don't see any sign of the girl. Maybe she went back home? Eventually, I slumped down on a bench in the corner. I wish I could go home too, I mutter to myself. Something cold presses against my neck. What? Is that what I think it is? Make a scene, I slit your throat. Oh no, it is a knife. Who the hell are... Two foreign men grab me by the arms from either side. In that moment, fragmentary memories flood through my mind. I'm on a street. Looks like someplace in the Middle East. I'm being dragged along by several men. I'm too scared to speak. There are people on the street, market vendors, but none of them seem willing to get involved. Those baka gaijin. What are they doing? Don't you know it's impolite to like fucking threaten someone with a knife? They don't do that in Japan. Go back home and do that. The men drag me into some back alley. Tasukete. Please, somebody tasukete. I'm being abducted. That's Kanan. Then a dark silhouette drops down in front of me. Where is her father? She came here with her father, right? What is... Oh my god. The figure brandishes a knife threateningly at the men. And they all die. Jesus. Ugh. The blade moves with dazzling speed. My captors are all down in mere moments. Who is this? Who came to save me? I try my utmost to drag my memories to the surface. It's a girl. That's right, I'm certain of that much. I don't remember her face, but it's a girl. Younger than me. Walk faster. The angry hiss in my ear snaps me out of my flashback. What was that memory just now? I'm more concerned about the girl who saved me than I am about the men who've captured me now. The two thugs march me along, still holding me by the arms. Can't believe she was in a place like that. Yeah, talk about giving us the runaround. I can't figure out what they're talking about. A place like what? Giving them the runaround? Do you know me? The two men look at each other. Wait, are you the other one? One of them peers closely into my face. What are you talking about? What do you mean, a place like... I stop as a sudden idea comes to me. Hold on. Are you talking about that storehouse? The men look utterly confused. What are you talking about? One of them asks. I explain that I've lost my memory. This seems to make them pretty anxious. We gotta report this. One of the men takes out his cell phone and makes a call. He informs whoever's on the other end that I've lost my memory. I have no idea what's going on. Based on what I can follow from the conversation, though, it seems that these were the people who had put me in that storehouse. But why had they done that? One of these guys asked if I was the other one. What could that possibly mean? Could it be... Did they abduct me because they mistook me for someone else? If so, who? The more I try to think, the more muddy this all gets. Calm down, just calm down. Let's think of what we know. What I do know for sure is that I woke up inside that storehouse, and evidently I took a blow to the head, and that's the cause of my amnesia. Hold on, that's strange. If these people had kidnapped me before, why wasn't the storehouse, well, locked? Seems pretty sloppy if they wanted to keep someone confined. What could all this possibly mean? It's no use. I haven't the foggiest. None of this makes any sense at all. Let go of her. I crane my neck to see who spoke. It's Kanan. Oh, it's not. It's the man with the cane who was at the security office. Who the hell are you? One of my captors barks. I said let her go. Did you not hear? The man with the cane pulls a gun from his suit pocket. Get lost. This isn't worth dying over. The two men take a few steps back, then bolt out of the alleyway. Who are you? My voice trembles slightly. Guess he's not here. The man takes a quick look around. Do you mean Mr. Yanagi? All that matters is that he's not here. Gun in hand, the man slowly approaches. Hitomi Osawa, I know you've done nothing wrong. What? I feel a jolt of surprise at the name. Hitomi Osawa? Is that my name? His face, a mask of stone. The man points the gun right at my head. Please, no hard feelings. He's really gonna do it. Oh, we're not? Okay, well. Bang. She'd be like, wait, no, you got the wrong one. Alright, so we got we got 3 left. Maria's done and Kando's done. We can go back here now. Right? Just like Cowboy Beboop. Just like it. I don't think that matters. That should have changed. I guess it didn't change those. I guess I'll pick the other one. But this seems like what she actually did. Whatever. Well, if it isn't Tama, what a coincidence. Never question Chunsoft logic. Yeah, I should know that by now, honestly. It's Yanagi again! I try to walk on by like I don't notice him, but it's already too late. Huh? Hey, where'd your boyfriend go? Boyfriend? I have no clue what he's talking about. Anyway, perfect timing. Can you give me back that magazine? Nothing you're saying is making any sense. I peer at him in confusion. Once again, Yanagi looks like he might start to cry. Don't tease me like this. I did give it to you, right? No, you didn't give me anything. I get it. You wanted that 100,000 yen all to yourself, so now you're playing dumb, is that it? No, I honestly have no idea what this is all about. By now he's all worked up and getting red in the face. Look, you might have amnesia, but that excuse ain't gonna fly with me. The amnesia has nothing to do with it. He doesn't seem to want to believe me, no matter what I say. Come on, hurry up, just give it back. Otherwise I'm gonna start bawling here, real loud. He's gonna cry? Seriously? This guy's a real piece of work. Well, what's it gonna be? They're gonna make a grown man cry? It would certainly be pretty embarrassing if he starts sobbing now. But I can't exactly give him back a magazine I never had. The elevator drops. Doors open. Oh, hi guys. Oh, if it isn't our little entrepreneur. We've been looking for you. It's the 2 thugs. Cool. From before, and there's no avoiding them this time. Yipes! The men drag Mr. Yanagi into the elevator. Save me, Tama! He grabs hold of my hand. Hey, let go of me! Great, now I'm in the elevator too, and the doors are shutting. Now then, Mr. Yanagi, says the bald-headed man, there's nowhere else to run. His tone is polite, but also pretty foreboding. Whoa, wait, just hold on. I can get you the money. I'm just about to get loads of it. Enough of your poppycock. Balderdash, claptrap, straight up nonsense. taken from the Dutch papikak, meaning soft dung. The more you know. I really mean it this time. Please, you have to believe me. I can pay you 100,000 right now. 100,000? You're really carrying around that much? Asked the bald man. As opposed to hard dung. Oh, not me, the girl. The men turned to eye me in unison. She's holding on to something that's worth 100,000 yen. What? The sudden turn in conversation has me all flustered. Tama, please, Yanagi says. Just hand it over. I already told you, I don't know what you're talking about. The elevator stops at the first floor and the doors open. Oh! Standing on the other side of the doors is the guy I ran into earlier, Hana's father. The bald-headed man snarls, Toyama! I'll just get the next one. Hana's father both like a startled hare. The bald man and his crony stare after him. Now's my chance, Yanagi hisses. He darts out of the elevator and makes a run for it. Hey, after him, shouts the bald man. After who, him or him? Just start with Toyama. The two thugs race after Hana's father. They've left me all by myself. I'm worried enough to think about going after them, but before too long I've lost sight of them all. For a long time, I just stand there, dumbfounded, like a hurricane victim lingering in the aftermath. Ugh, what a day this has been. When I finally get my wits about me, I realize I'm pretty hungry. That's right, I didn't get to eat lunch. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Oh, well that changed. What? Okay. Let's see. That should be the same thing. Because the Toyama's gonna come up and hide behind me? Like, what? Let's see. Right. He spotted Hitomi heading down the escalator ahead of him. Hitomi! Achi shouted. Okay, I guess that did change. But his voice vanished into the noise of the crowd, and she disappeared onto the first floor. Damn it! Achi rushed down the escalator. He took the steps 2, 3, 5 at a time. Oh, we got a remix, okay. He made it to the first floor and looked around. There was Hitomi, about to take a different escalator back up. Why is she doing this? He waved his arms to get her attention, but she didn't notice and headed right back up. They have phones, by the way. Down, up. What the heck is she thinking? Achi sped around and got on the upward escalator. Out of my way, come on. He shoved people aside as he ran up the moving stairs. But he saw no sign of Hitomi when he reached the second floor. He lost track of her completely. Oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Achi's shoulders slumped. He felt exhausted, but he kept up his search, scouring one floor after another until eventually he made it down to the second basement level. Had she grown too impatient waiting for Kanan and gone off searching for the blue minivan again? I think I can handle myself from here. He thought back to what Hitomi had said earlier. Damn it! She's not gonna be okay by herself. He pounded his fist into the wall in frustration. Please stop. That was Hitomi's voice. Hitomi! Achi moved faster than he could think. Achi! She called back. A pair of thugs had grabbed her by both arms. Achi stomped his way towards them. Get your hands off of her, he shouted. Huh? What's it to you, pal? The older of the two, a middle-aged fellow, turned to Achi with a sneer. He looked familiar somehow. Hitomi shook herself free of the men and ran over to Achi. It's no use trying to act tough, buddy. We're just trying to get back what we're owed. Don't make us have to get rough with you. What you're owed? Hitomi, do you owe people money? No, I don't. They just came after me and started going on about 2 million yen. She looked just as baffled by the situation as Achi was. If you're gonna blame someone, blame your boss, the older man said. He gestured to his lackey. A feral gleam flashed in the young punk's eyes. It was the look of a man who couldn't resist dishing out a beatdown. He brought up his fists and shifted his feet, shadowboxing a few quick jabs with his left hand. It looked to Achi like the guy was an experienced boxer. Hold on, mate, Hitomi said. What do you mean? My boss. Say what? Yanagishita, who the hell do you think? The young punk shuffled closer, fist still menacing. Then his expression changed. Hey. Hold on. Are you Achiendo? Yeah, that's right. Well, ain't that lucky, getting to throw down with you like this. The punk sounded pleased indeed. I've heard all sorts of rumors about you, you know. Let's see how true they are. Achi didn't like his chances in a straight-up fight with a trained boxer. What should he do? Run? Apologize? Go for broke? Oop. Well, I don't think I should apologize. We didn't do anything wrong. We could run. But I think all the exits are going to be barred, right? Let's go for broke. His best chance was to hope for an opening to deliver a low kick. It's a kick using the foot or shin to strike the opponent in the thigh. Wait, was it? In karate, this is known as Gedan Mawashi Geri, since the legs are longer than the arms. He needs to time it perfectly when his opponent took a step forward. With a loud breath, the thug shot out his left arm. Now! Achi shifted his stance and unleashed a low kick. Suddenly, the elevator doors opened right nearby. Achi and the punk both stopped in mid-attack. A miserable-looking older man stood in the elevator. At the sight of him, the punk's face went red with rage. You! Toyama! Going up? The man in the elevator hurriedly closed the doors. The two thugs rushed toward him, but the elevator had already begun heading back upward. Come on after him, the older man shouted. The young punk raced up the stairs. You stay right where you are, the older fellow added, glaring at Hitomi. Then he followed after his lackey. Yeah, because we'll totally do that. Does he really think we're dumb enough to just wait here, Achi scoffed. Achi, I've been looking all over for you. Where were you? Hitomi gave him an angry swat on the chest. For me? What are you talking about? You weren't waiting where you said you'd be. Yeah, because you went up to another floor. What do you mean? I went right where you said, on the second floor. Huh? This isn't quite adding up. Second floor? What are you talking about? He got swatted. You went up to the third floor. No, I didn't. Wait, what? None of this makes any sense. Actually, felt like his brain was getting scrambled. Well, anyway, at least I found you safe and sound. Yeah. The two smiled at one another, and then they hugged. And they're like, I love you. What's with those clothes? Hitomi's new outfit was completely different from the clothes she'd had on earlier. Maybe the scrambling is coming sooner than I thought. I tried on a few things, but wound up deciding on this. You tried other stuff on? Ah, okay. That explains it, Achi said. At least now things sort of made sense. That's nice. He still thinks that... Okay. That's nice, you know. What is? Your clothes, I mean. They look good on you. Thank you. Well, I'm actually blushing now. Kind of made me blush to say it. Achi and Hitomi shyly avoided each other's eyes. And I also have a fucking magazine for some reason. Oh, so hey, Achi said, eager to change the subject. Do you still have that magazine? Oh, right, yeah. I was gonna just throw it away, but I couldn't. How come? I haven't been able to find the right kind of receptacle. Newspapers and magazines are supposed to be kept separate from normal trash, right? Hitomi scanned their surroundings for a suitable bin. Are you serious? Yeah. You're thinking about proper recycling now, of all times? Is that weird? Oh my god, he's like, I love you! You're the perfect girl! Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. I think you might just be perfect. Hachi found himself blushing. Even harder. Oh, she recycles? Oh my god, she's a 10. She's a 10 because she recycles. Get you a girl who recycles. Tama! A sudden yell snapped him out of his... We need to get the fuck out of this fucking mall, dude. This is ridiculous. The sketchy-looking fellow who'd given her the magazine was scampering down the stairs toward them. Great, Hachi said, the weirdo's back. The man ignored him, though, and leaned in close to Hitomi. Ah ha ha ha! You do still have it! He snatched the magazine from Hitomi's hands. Yes, this one hasn't been scratched off yet. The man hunkered down on the floor and began scratching away at a scratch card, stapled into the centerfold. Wait, don't let him have that! Another man came swooping out of nowhere and yanked the magazine away. It was the older fellow who'd appeared in the elevator minutes before. You can't do that, that's mine! The sketchy-looking man clutched at the older newcomer. Let go! No way! I said let go! And I said no way! The two were fighting right in front of the exit, keeping Achi and Hitomi from leaving. How'd you like this? The older man shouted, scratching away haphazardly at the trinket, or the ticket. Now it's just a worthless scrap of paper. Ah, my 100,000 yen! You mean my 100,000 yen. Then the middle-aged fellow looked back down at the ticket. What are the odds? Somehow, in his random scratching, he'd happened to land himself a winner. Give it. No way. The two men took off, engaged in a running battle. What? Doesn't he know? Okay, that confuses me. He knows that it's not legit. Why did he even do that? What was the deal with those two? I'm not sure. Achi and Hitomi could only stand there, dumbfounded. On the other hand, hey! Look at the time, it's almost 3. Where is Kanan? The two headed hurriedly for the Gigo back entrance. But I thought it was locked. But just as they were nearing the doors, the shutters dropped down in front of them. Well, what gives?
Attention, during the maintenance, entrance is closed. If others on the convenience, carriers will leak due to the entrance of the first floor.
Achi glared at the loudspeaker. It looked like there was no exit through the back after all. Got a really bad preposition? I've got a really bad preposition about this. What? You mean premonition? He told me I got... Okay, I was like, I don't think they meant to use that word. And he told me it gotten quicker to butt in with her corrections. Holding on to their premonitions, then, the two hurried their way up to the stairwell. As Hitomi tried to head out the first floor entryway, Achi yanked her back. I only had a bad ad for her. Careful. What's the matter? It's that guy. Huh? Hitomi's expression stiffened. I'm wondering if I can find a little girl to shoot in the head today. Which one should I pick? Slipping behind a nearby pillar, Achi pointed to the man with the cane who was keenly eyeing shoppers as they came and went. Well, this bites. No way we're getting out with him here. Or there. Achi. Hitomi whispered in his ear. Behind us. Achi glanced back and saw the two goons walking in their direction. Uh-oh. If those two caused a scene like before, the assassin would notice them for sure. Aha! The younger punk had spotted them. Damn it, Achi thought, gritting his teeth. Eep! But the thuggish pair let out a teensy squeak and then darted off in a different direction, vanishing from view. The heck? Because they thought she was Maria, but she's not. She's Hitomi. Because they're siblings, but they're like twins. They look the same, except they kind of don't really. I could tell the difference. Achi and Hitomi watched them go, unsure what to make of the sudden retreat. Well, anyway, Achi said after a moment, now we can try to find another way out. Taking Hitomi by the hand, he headed back into the shopping area. The back entrance on the first floor, that was a no-go. The other emergency exits were also locked down, which meant that the main entrance on the first floor really was the only choke point in or out. It was almost time for them to meet Kanan. They needed to find some way to bust out of here. The pair headed back toward the main entrance. Then they saw the man with the cane again, heading in their direction. He hadn't seen them yet, but there was no way they'd avoid him if they didn't do something quick. Guess for now we've got to go up, Hachi said to Hitomi. They started racing up the nearest escalator, which was descending from above. My bad, coming through. Sorry, please excuse us. They fought and shoved their way past a stream of people riding in the other direction. They could see the second floor now. Achi figured they'd be in the clear once they got there. But then a large woman appeared at the top of the escalator, heading down. She was the one who'd been in the Chinese restaurant on the 4th floor. The one who'd supposedly packed an entire buffet into her belly. She was wide enough that Achi and Hitomi would never be able to slip past her. Hey, out of the way, Achi shouted. But the young woman ignored him. Large woman! Achi tried to push past, but he just bounced off her. They were drifting inevitably back down toward the 1st floor. It was like they were riding a conveyor belt that was delivering them right to the assassin. Just tell her to move! Hey, Chidi, can you, like, move? This was not good. If they didn't do something soon, they'd... Wait a sec. Something must have caught the assassin's eye. Achi saw him suddenly rush outside. There was no telling what had just happened, but now there was a chance to escape. Achi and Hitomi raced out the door. She was just standing on the escalator, like, oh, I'm so full. Oh, I ate so much food. I'm just gonna stand here. No one's getting past me. Outside, the man with the cane was nowhere to be seen. Looks like we're safe. Achi let out a sigh. For now, someone said. Is that Kanan? Keep your eyes open. Oh, it's Kanan! The sudden words made the two turn with a start. Kanan was standing right behind them. Yeah, that's like a fucking, like, that's a child. She'd gotten this close and neither of them had noticed a thing. She moved with all the skill of an assassin. Achi felt a chill shoot through him. Don't be depict. Ah, god damn it. Whatever. Alright, now we got one more, I think. Child assassin? I've seen this anime. That's never been done before. Never. Never, I say. We got 2 to get through. I'm clearly gonna have to jump somewhere. Where is this? Osawa's jump? Not there. What's this? Norikawa. I guess we'll start there. What was this? The man. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. It's Achi, obviously. Yeah, do it here. Jump! Narakawa got oh no, Kimizuka said, waving a hand. Don't worry about the fare. Huh? Why not? There's still plenty left over from what you paid me earlier, sir. That's what I meant by special fare. That's right, he paid Kimizuka a whole 10,000 yen for taking him to Endo Electronics earlier. But, I mean, I'm not the sort of person to keep the change, as it were, Kimizuka said. Minorikawa felt a surge of pride at those words. You're my kind of guy, Mr. Kimizuka. A man on the job can always count on Hachiro Kimizuka's taxi, the driver grinned. Oh, go on. Go! Thank you. I have a feeling we'll meet again. As Minorikawa entered the theater lobby what? I just put words in sentences sometimes. As Minorikawa entered the theater lobby, he saw a bunch of flower bouquets. Patrons' gifts of appreciation. Among the names of the senders were celebrities he recognized, like Koichi Nakamura of the Secret Society, what? Chunsoft? The next largest came from Marutaro Ishihara from the government organization Joy Yards. Following that were those from actress Barako Rose, popular scenario writer Ebisu Ipponmatsu, Tohoku Busters Bus Tours Co. Limited, Bus guide, Kimiko Amo, professional baseball player Masa Narikyo, the ventriloquist Shinshin, ukulele player Hawaii Matsuda, online TV critic Genzo Aki. Okay, I know these people. I know everyone here. Evidently, the Wandering Angels were a pretty popular acting troupe. People were setting out pamphlets and flyers out on a nearby table. There was a palpable tension in the air. The crew seemed skittish as they went about their work. He's late, someone shouted all of a sudden. It was a man over in one corner of the lobby, railing angrily to nobody in particular. Why the hell hasn't that journalist shown up yet for the interview? Looked like he'd been waiting on Minorikawa then. What's his deal pulling this while we're this busy? Guess that's Shinosuke Orai. That's a hard name to say. Orai. I've been busy myself, Minorikawa said, keeping his composure. Trust me, I know how it goes. Huh? Who the hell are you? I'm the guy you've been waiting for. Mr. Orai. The man glared at him. It's Orai, he said. Anyway, I'm Minorikawa. Sorry to keep you waiting. Though really, a short wait is a small price to pay for the chance to be interviewed by me. Well, I hope you appreciate how valuable my time is, now that you're taking it, snapped Orai. Wow, someone sure has a high opinion of himself, Minorikawa replied. He marched up to Orai. Damn right I do. I'm Shinosuke Orai. The theater man got right up in Minorikawa's face. Like anyone even cares. A jolt of tension. Ooh. There's a jump point. We'll do that later. Jolt of tension sparked between the two men. I beg your pardon? A woman interrupted. But Mr. Orai does have a schedule to keep. And who are you? Miss Sukozawa. I'm the producer. Well, listen, Sue. I'm in the middle of an interview here. Please don't interrupt. What? That's how you conduct an interview? That's right. This is how I roll. Look, whatever, Orai growled. Let's just do this already. Fine by me. The two men sat down at opposite sides of a table in the lobby. But Sukozawa spoke up once again. Mr. Orai, don't forget the meeting you have after this. Yeah, handle that, would you? Minorikawa let out a derisive snort. It's like you're holding court, he said. Do people actually hang around you with that kind of attitude? You have no right to judge my acting troupe. Minorikawa straightened up in his chair, a mocking smile on his lips. Oh, so it's your acting troupe, huh? He said. Why not just play all the roles yourself? Heck, you could even be your own audience. How dare you? Orai rose to his feet and made to leave, but Sukozawa herded him back down into his chair. Minorikawa continued as if he hadn't heard. Just what is it you do anyway? He asked. Orai raised an incredulous eyebrow. You don't know? No, why should I? You came to an interview without knowing anything about who you were interviewing? Yep. That's it! Get out! Orai roared and pointed angrily toward the exit. How dare an unmannered clod like you come in here and waste my time with all this fucking flim-flam? Hey, who's being unmannered now? I came all the way out here to hear your story, didn't I? Why don't you get out? Minorikawa pointed at the exit as well. Why the hell should I have to leave? Orai demanded. This is my house. That's theater jargon for the theater. Thank you. Look, just get out! This time both yelled and pointed toward the exit in unison. Perfect. Sukozawa quickly interposed herself between them, forcing a smile. Gentlemen, please, calm down, she said. Then she turned to Minorikawa. You should be aware that Mr. Orai used to be a broadcast writer. He's responsible for a lot of big hits. I hate to mention that already, he grumbled. Nonetheless, Sukozawa rattled off the names of several shows. Minorikawa did indeed recognize many of them. He murmured. So how come you're running a failing theater now? Failing? Orai went red in the face. I'm not wrong, am I? You are absolutely the rudest person I have ever met. What would a rank amateur like you, or like yourself, know about theater? Orai's face was dark with rage, but Minorikawa didn't back down. Listen, this has nothing to do with how well your theater is or isn't doing, he snapped. The television world wouldn't accept you, so in order to retain your pride as an entertainer, you started doing theater, isn't that so? Don't act like you know anything. I've staked my entire life on the theater. It seemed as if Orai might throw a punch at any moment. Sure, a city theater might seem small time compared to TV, but you get a lot more of a response from it. Response. Oh, now that sounds interesting. Darn right, Orai exclaimed. You can see it from up on stage. The audience, you can see their faces. There is a passion in Orai's voice now. You can really feel it. When the audience is enjoying themselves, you can feel that energy. I can't get that from doing television. Thinking back on it now, my time spent working on TV, let's see. What's a good analogy? It's like being handed a towel that's already damp. No, that's not right. Okay, so a better analogy would be... And without further preamble, Orai began talking about his tribulations back in his broadcast writer days. Minorikawa smiled inwardly. The interview ended promptly after 15 minutes, the time that had been promised. Both men emerged from it as if from a daze. Minorikawa found himself staring Orai in the face, shaking him by the hand. So, what kind of story did I just get? He asked, speaking half to himself. You heard about one man and his life. I have to admit, it was a good interview. Thanks. You have my gratitude. With a satisfied smile, Minorikawa closed his notebook. Right. Glad to hear that then. Orai inclined his head, looking a bit bewildered. A flustered Tsukuzawa interrupted. Mr. Minorikawa, wasn't this interview for a piece about the performance? Huh? Minorikawa blinked. It's just that you were only asking about Mr. Orai and not the performance itself, Tsukuzawa said. Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, I came here for a piece I'm going to be writing called Where Are They Now? Washed Up Broadcast Writer Showcase. Washed up? Orai was red in the face all over again. You bastard! How dare you! Forget everything I just told you. I do not give you my permission to use it in your magazine. You're too late. What? I've already heard your whole story. You should be grateful that I'll be writing a piece on it. You bastard! With a wild look in his eyes, Orai snatched up a hammer the stage crew had left nearby. Go ahead, hit me. Oh, I'll hit you alright. Orai waved the hammer menacingly. But the attack came to a sudden halt as a ringing tone startled him out of his fury. Hold on a moment, Minorikawa said brightly. I have to take this. He whipped out his cell phone, talked to the hand. Hello, Minorikawa speaking. This is Osawa. Wow, he called back a lot sooner than Minorikawa had expected. Have your daughters come home then? No. Actually, there's a favor I'd like to ask you. Favor? Minorikawa thought back to his visit at the Osawa residence. The drawn curtains, the stricken look on Osawa's face. Minorikawa's instincts had sensed something significant going on. Apparently, getting the full story wasn't going to come without some cost. A favor, huh? Is it something urgent? I'll pay whatever I have to. I just need you to look into something as quickly as possible. His voice had the telltale desperation of a man who'd been backed into a corner. Alright, Minorikawa said. I can help you out for a little while. Osawa hurriedly explained what he was after. The request was a strange one. He wanted Minorikawa to look into a scandalous article about that 4-star general gossip had run about him in the past. What makes this so important? Do I have to say? I mean, you're asking me to look into something without explaining anything. He eyed Orai, lurking nearby with obvious irritation. Minorikawa would need to calm down the erstwhile broadcast writer, or else his interview really would be for naught. He decided to bluff both men at the same time. Let me just say one thing, he said into the phone. He made sure he spoke loud and clear so that Orai would overhear. I want to tell the world this story. No, I need to tell it. If I don't feel that way about something, no amount of money in the world will get me to write an article on it. That's my pride as a writer at work. Minorikawa could see Orai's aura of rage fading as he listened. The theater man looked surprised. Phew. Meanwhile, Osawa had decided to open up a bit. Alright, he said. I can't share all the details, but... Okay, he's in a talkative mood now. Good job, Minorikawa. See, this is going fine. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here, Osawa continued. And I mean that quite literally. I can tell you more after you're done investigating. Wait, was he serious? How could the world's balance of power hinge on looking into some alleged marital affair? It was so absurd that Minorikawa had to fight the urge to burst out laughing. A person would need to be out of his mind to believe a story like that. But Minorikawa wasn't the average person. And so sometimes the truth was so ridiculous, really, or it really was stranger than fiction. Osawa wasn't lying. Minorikawa's instincts had told him that much. Alright, he said. I'll check the editing department's notes from back then. Minorikawa felt his excitement building. Things were really getting interesting. For the moment, he nearly forgot Toyama and his troubles. When he ended the call, Orai approached him and extended his hand. Listen, your methods might be a little extreme, but I can tell you take pride in your work. Of course I do. I'm sorry for getting so worked up, but I bet you'd write a fine article about me. So please, Mr. Minorikawa, let the world know about me and my half-lived life. Minorikawa took the offered hand and shook it. Leave it to me. Once I'm done with it, you won't just be some washed-up nobody anymore, Mr. Orai. It's Orai. Minorikawa grinned. Minorikawa rushed out of the theater. He completed all the interviews that he could get done before 4 o'clock. Now he had an hour left to write it all up to convince the folks from the loan company that the gossip could stay afloat. Hurrah! He let out a roar, psyching himself up for the final push. To be continued. Alright, we got one more to go. One more to go. Where was it? Right here. Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment. What is it? Tanaka's voice. Oh, this seems the same. The tension was electric. Oh, he was talking to Osawa that time. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money troubles? Money? Tanaka replied. I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you'd understand. Do you have any idea what it's been like for me? Doing our research together? You're always the one who takes center stage. The fruits of our success are all yours, even though you couldn't have done any of it without me. The more he said, the more vitriol seethed into his words. Osawa's hand trembled as he clutched the phone. The taker can never understand how it feels to be taken from. You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. And with that, he hung up. Hey, Tanaka! Osawa dialed the number again, but Tanaka didn't pick up. Osawa racked his brain, thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual? Any clue at all, no matter how small? If he could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find Maria and Hitomi. That was it. I had been suspicious of Tanaka all along, so much so that she planted a bug on him hidden in a tie clip. Her suspicions must have been pretty strong. Wait, Osawa recalled what Kajiwara had said. But still, if she's that worried, giving a tie clip as a gift is a bit... The words had... Of course, how could I forget? The words had struck Osawa as odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tie clip. His heart gave a heavy throb on his chest. It couldn't be. No, it was impossible. That article from 4-Star General Gossip crept back into his mind. The article had talked about a man I had dated before she married Osawa. The man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka? You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. Back. Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. Osawa felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all of this? No. Wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? What could it mean? It was no use. Osawa couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish what the relationship between I and Tanaka really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. Obviously, he couldn't just go and ask I directly. If she really were involved in all this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Osawa thought back to the business card he'd tossed into the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from that scavenging hyena. But now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do some investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minoru Minorikawa. He was Osawa's only hope. To be continued. What? Oh, I gotta... Oh, god damn it. I have to go back here. Is this gonna play out the same, though? Wait. Because if I... Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that... Oh, hold on. I guess it does. That's weird. I have to... Huh. Sure. I thought it was going to end the exact same, but I guess not. Let's go through this whole rigmarole yet again. I've been playing this game for like, what, 30 hours or something? I still don't know how I feel about it. I still don't know how I feel about this. It's definitely unique. I'll say that much. It's different. That doesn't always mean good. Yeah, not enough Oni-chans. This game would be better if you had more Oni-chans. Or One-sans. Hello there. I feel like this is gonna play out to be a bad end. I swear to God. Enough of your poppycock. Oyama. That flute is going crazy. She's hungry. I swear to God, if this ends with her trying to go to that restaurant and it's closed, he was rehearsing for Link's Awakening remake. Since I really don't want to run into Yanagi and those other guys again, I decided to take the escalator. As I'm riding it up, I hear a commotion coming from the floor below. It's a man's voice shouting angrily, "Out of my way, come on." I pay the outburst no heed and let the escalator take me up. She's going to the restaurant, and it's going to be like it's closed, and then that's a bad end. The Chinese restaurant, yeah, again. Oh my god. So what am I missing here? We're closed. Could somebody eat all our food? I'm sorry. I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying about it. I'm sorry. Oh, why not? We see one of our other customers ate all our food. Oh my god, is that even possible? I'm trying to say is get the fuck out of here, please. We're closed for the day. I can't imagine even eating that much. Wouldn't you literally explode? I feel like you would literally explode. I guess this isn't ending like I thought it would. That's good. If I'm eating at a buffet, I can barely handle like 2 plates. Okay, come on. We've seen this already. Do you know my father? I don't know him exactly. That is true. I'm no Margarita. If only I was. If only I was like Margarita. Unfortunately, we're not all blessed like she is. You don't have the super metabolism. I get bored. I like being alone. Hana looks away from me. Sure, your father must be missing you right now. He doesn't care about what happens to me. Oh, she's talking. Her words trigger a sudden intense tightness in my chest. What is this feeling? Okay, well, that didn't matter. What kind of? I guess it kind of mattered. Hana's feeling neglected. Now we know. I caught that. Oh my god, this really did need a fucking skip function, man. This is like the same ending. I can't just like... I'm afraid to back out because if I do, it might start me from the beginning again. I don't want to do that. I can't tell with this game sometimes. I said, I have nothing to do with that guy. She's so cool. Did I get training from a girl in the Middle East who's an assassin, maybe? Is that what happened? Make it seem nicely your throat. And then, of course, no one pays any mind to this. Oh, they must be filming a movie. Haha. They're probably just filming a movie. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, the Knicks are the 2026 NBA champions. Oh my god, finally. I don't watch basketball. That's the only thing people were talking about at work today. It was so fucking hilarious. I'm like, I don't care about basketball. I'm sorry. But apparently the Knicks have never won a championship in like 50 years or something ridiculous. So good for them. I'm glad. Good for the Knicks. I love the Knicks. Go Knicks. Place like what? Going to run around. Do you know me? The two men look at each other. Wait, are you the other one? And he goes, what? The other one? There's two of them? No one told me this. They're twins? You don't either, but your dad from Buffalo, and he also wanted the Knicks to win, especially in the Patrick Ewing era of the 90s. They always got stuffed by Jordan. Full circle moment, yes. It's a fucking miracle. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy for them. For all the Knicks fans out there. I have to wait another 50 years for another win. Sorry. But hey, you got one. The score was, looks like it was 93 to 90. That's pretty close. But they did it. Now, if only the Braves can win baseball again for the first season. Maybe. Just keep believing. The Knicks are a success story. Just keep believing. Any team can win if you believe hard enough and wait long enough and or live long enough. Okay, please. I know I could probably just like go back to the thing and it would probably have the to be continued portion lined up, but I don't want to risk that. I'm just gonna play it out. This should be the end. Get the guy with the gun. Yep. Get lost. He's gonna shoot her in the head. And of course we're gonna play a little bit of her story so we see if he does that or not. He's not gonna shoot her. There's no way. He's gonna be like, wait a second, you don't maybe is your name Maria? And she'll be like, maybe. I don't know. I have amnesia. You're like, no, the plan's all wrong. How could this happen? I have animamnesia. I got isekai'd here. I don't know what Japan is. I got isekai'd. Or Shibuya. I don't know what that is. Do it, I dare you. You won't. That's what I thought. Next time on Shibuya Scramble. What's gonna happen? Let's see. Yay, we did it. Alright, we're gonna do a little bit of hers. I want to see if she dies. She's not gonna die, but I want to see. And then I'm just gonna call it. Because I can't do I can't do 2 portions of these. I just can't do it. It's impossible. They might be shorter streams, but at least we're having fun reading for like 3 hours. Alright, man. Do it. Go ahead. Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, its finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Or, yeah, she's saying that. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good, hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun. Tell me what you know. Or, I guess he said that. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. Oh, I see, so that's what's going on then. I gotta take a sit down. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. He seems to believe me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I gonna do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. Doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. I would just walk away. But I guess we'll play it safe. Remain motionless. Waiting for an opportunity to run away. I might not make it in time. The man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not making it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or a place to try to find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet, sitting on a pile of crates. He seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare to try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am. Watashi wa. Boku wa. No, I have no business with you, the man finally says. Go. Don't worry, I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back. Do not go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. How long is a while? Until around sundown. This should all be over by then. It'll all be over. Okay, so now I have an idea. I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay, I'm going to run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're going to hate me. And so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it makes me even more uneasy. Truly, I'm sorry. I've got no response for that, so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. I decide to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realize it, I've made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here? As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Tama, 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 Tama. There's Mr. Yanagi on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss? Look, this is all just... I was framed. Now, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for selling stuff he finds around town. Hey, the sales clerk steps into view, scowling. Just what are you implying? What in the world's going on here? I haven't the foggiest. Tama, help me. Please. Yanagi kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? The sales clerk asks. No. I mean, sorta. He's a real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but could you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police... The gunman did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I am reluctant to antagonize him. And for reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yanagi isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me. Looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. Yeah, that'll work. Tama Tama can take me to the police, and then we can put this all behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. Okay, Mr. Yanagi says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Now let's go find Shiri. Huh? Aren't we going to the What? No, we're not really gonna go. Oh man, I am so glad you showed up, Tama. Now come on, let's go find Shiri. From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me. It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yanagi isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. This time I got a line on 10 million yen. So come on, let's go make ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. Bro, fourth wall broken? Several weeks later? Excuse me? What are you talking about? Iron stomach. Oh, the ice cream thing. Oh, Rika up in here. He won? Oh no, Chiri did. Oh, I stand. I stand with Chiri on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Chiri is the champion. She laughs with delight as she holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony kind of grows on you. Even I was surprised by how much I could eat, and I had to admit it felt kind of good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose, and my sister's probably dead. And my family never found me either. To steal Chiri's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. Fucking... oh, whatever. The Throne of Gluttony. Right. We did it! Yay! Yay. This game is peak! This is a peak game. Okay, well that's funny. That's hilarious. We literally just started the fucking hour and it's already over. But yeah. These are gonna be shorter streams, I guess. I can't stream this game for more than like 3 hours at a time. It's my horse. My voice. It becomes a horse. That's what happens. But yeah, thank you to everyone who stopped by tonight. Neo Mega Kupo, Pork Bob, and Meep Miner. I appreciate it, as always. And anybody else that might have stopped by. And anybody that might see this in the future, I guess I'm gonna stream this again next Friday. Yeah, I'll do another double. Usually I keep going until I hit around like 5 hours if I can. But like I said, I can't. I'm too weak. Too weak-willed. So yeah, next Friday we'll do another double. But until then, peace out.